Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. It's 6:08. It's Thursday, June 25th, and this is the Community Board One full board meeting. We're calling the meeting to order at 6:08. Thank you for joining us. We always start with our public session first. We do have our sitting assembly member Glick, who's here, who does need to leave very quickly. So we told her we could give her 5 minutes. Where'd you go? Okay. You're almost always over here. Come join us. So we figured we'd give her 5 minutes to start the meeting off, and then we're going to jump into the public session. So welcome, Deborah, and off you go.
Thank you very much. The session is over, but I am still in office until December 31 of the year, so there will continue to be constituent services and with no special session. Today I participated in the hearing on the of the scope of work for the EIS at IP. And that was interesting. We will expand our testimony and submit written comments in the next week so that we touch some of the bases that we didn't think we would have time for in terms of making a presentation to FP. The session went not particularly long because of primaries, but the budget went very long. So the budget, which is usually or is supposed to be done by April 1, ran well into late May. And so we were left with about 10 days of legislative session instead of 2 months. So there were a lot of things that didn't get done. But things that got done in the budget that are positive and very important had to do with an increase in the Environmental Protection Fund. This provides grants to a myriad of programs across the state. And we went from 425 million to 450 million. We had $750 million in water infrastructure. This helps, again, communities across the state deal with clean water infrastructure. And that went from an annual 500 million to 750 million, which it's in here. The pizza comes in here.
Thank you.
Want to see them once.
Yeah, don't want it to disappear down the hall.
There were other things in the budget that had to do with dealing with immigration issues. We passed a package that would require federal agents not to be masked. We included a piece that would indicate that local police departments cannot directly participate with civil immigration issues, which would mean you can't call somebody after pulling somebody over for a traffic stop and question their status and call ICE. Kind of thing that's prohibited. If someone is a violent felon, which is what they have told us they were looking for, but apparently not very hard. They've been, sort of shooting fish in a barrel by going to immigration courts. That's something else that is not allowed. And pulling people who are trying to do the right thing and finding people who they're questioning whether or not, and obviating the due process they're entitled to. So that was in the budget. There was a change in auto insurance. I don't think anybody's going to see any real change in their premiums as a result. But you will see people getting less coverage, and perhaps one of the lesser things that we did, though the governor was very, insistent upon it. So, those are some of the high points, things we didn't do. We didn't deal with forever chemicals in, personal care products. We didn't deal with forever chemicals in, household goods. We didn't deal with waste reduction. We, were, there were a number of other things. The one thing that did get into the budget that I'd worked on for close to 10 years was the pied-à-terre tax, which, finally, made its way. And that'll be up to the city to deal with trying to administer it, in a clear and unambiguous and even-handed fashion. We also are hopeful that the governor bills get passed, the governor calls them up in groups of, 10 or 20 at a time in order to have her folks review it. Now, the technical chapters sometimes are, well, it wasn't quite the right section or it conflicts with something, you have to make a technical adjustment. But for several administrations, it has been sort of a wholesale change in what the part of the bill is. And we may have passed sort of the same number of bills as we did in the past year, even though we crunched them together. The first half of the session was doing chapter amendments on bills that passed and which were, quote, tweaked, but actually in some instances pretty significantly changed by the executive saying, I'll sign it, but I'll sign it only if. So we have a couple of bills that are a low impact landscaping, which really affects people in HOAs. And there are lots of them in the state, not so much here. That's known as a co-op board or a condo board, but the HOAs around the state. We passed it once before. The governor had vetoed it on the basis that we should not be sort of upending a contract that people had signed on to. Our point was that many people had signed on to these things 15 years ago. Climate change has changed dramatically. They're living in an area that now gets much more heavy rain, and they live down the hill, and they're now being prevented from protecting their property by not being able to put in low impact landscaping, which means they're not gonna have a lawn that runs the water right off, but rather be able to absorb the water and do things that are pollinator gardens and the like, things that make more sense. So I'm hopeful that we did point out that we already had told HOAs that they could not unreasonably deny people the right to solar energy. So we are piggybacking on that by pointing out that this is a similar thing, that people want to be able to do things that make sense and things that in this instance, we believe also helps stormwater runoff and in general is positive because 85% of the land mass east of the Mississippi is in private hands. And so it's important that private individuals are stewarding their land, and many people want to, so they should not be denied that right. And there are things there is a report, it's sitting over there. I managed to staff myself well. And we, of course, went to the Rent Guidelines Board to support freezing rents, since they went up 12% in Manhattan.
30 in places in Battery Park City. Okay, does anybody have questions for Deborah? Richard?
Not a question. First, thank you for your testimony today in front of city planning. It was concise and to the point and very appreciated by everyone who was listening. Thank you for that. And thank you for, I don't remember how many years it's been. I think 30.
This is 36.
36 years serving our community as well as you have. We are very grateful.
Yes.
Done, I should have said, does anybody else have anything? If not, it's just kind of perfect the way it goes.
Sorry, Tammy online, Justine, just a quick.
I apologize. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. But I just want to say thank you, reiterating what I think it was Richard who just said that. But I also wanted to make a point of thanking you for getting the Battery Park City bill, the rebate bill for some homeowners and renters that are under 150% of AMI. Really important to our neighborhood and really appreciate you for getting that done. Now we just need the governor to sign it, but thank you, as well as for everything else.
Well, thank you. I haven't represented Battery Park City for the last 5 years in the
Sorry with me. Go ahead.
reapportionment, but was in the northern section for many, many years and understand exactly how important it is for people who have created this great community, still have an opportunity to live there, which is true of all of Manhattan at this point. People who, love it and want to be here because of the work that so many people did in community boards and on block associations and all sorts of institutions that have really made neighborhoods so vital and so attractive. Aside from the fact that there are world-class institutions, right outside our doors. So that's an important thing for everybody. That's why hopefully the pied-à-terre tax will help municipal services continue in a positive direction.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know you have to boogie, so I appreciate you coming early.
Thank you.
and Often, as they say.
Yeah, well, you'll see me in the fall. This isn't the end, but thank you. For the shout out, and I appreciate the work that everybody does on community boards, because you're all volunteering, except a couple of people who actually work in the office. But all of the rest of you are, doing this because you care about your neighborhoods and your community. So
Awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah. Okay, so now we're gonna head straight into the public session. I'm gonna call names for order. Okay, for members of the public. If you are here and you wanted to speak, you needed to sign up online. If I don't see your name in the spreadsheet, then we don't recognize you in the room. If you haven't signed up online and you need some help, please see Lucy in the back. If you are a new board member, please make sure you've signed in for attendance. The QR codes are on the table. I'll need to sign in. I realize I have not either, so there we go. All right, so we're gonna go. I want to make a note at the top that a member of the public representing the Battery Park City branch, Eliza O'Connor, submitted written testimony for the New York Public Libraries. So that'll just get that out of the way, but does not want to speak. So Roger Manning, you're gonna go first. Everybody gets 2 minutes. I've asked Brendan to time everybody. So I'm gonna go in this order, please. It's Roger Manning. It's Mark Liebman. It's Jackie Liang. Caroline Baptista. Oh, no, before Caroline, no, Liebman signed up twice, great. Caroline Baptista, okay? So with that order, fire away. And state your name for the record when you come so the cameras can find you, please.
Hi, folks. I'm Roger Manning, co-founder of the Metro Area Governors Island Coalition, MAGIC. Our website is govislandcoalition.org. First off, we thank the Trust for all the worthwhile programming that they're doing and appreciate the enormous task of managing the Governors Island. Recently, MAGIC emailed the Trust seeking assurance that the 2025 widespread spraying of the Supreme Court's favorite pesticide, glyphosate, which is banned in New York City parks, by the way, would not be sprayed again this year on Governor's Island. The Trust responded that they do not, quote, plan to use glyphosate at this time. Two concerns that we highlighted is that people not kept off the contaminated area after the required 24-hour period, and that about half of the relocated Grow NYC teaching garden where volunteers, staff, and children frequent is on contaminated ground and food grown there will be distributed. The farm should be ideally relocated, but at the very least, there should be exposure signs and labeling perhaps with the food. See the June report on Gulf Island Coalition.org for more details and a link to the letter, which was sent to CB1 as well, by the way. Legal requirements were met, but I mean, cigarettes are legal. Just saying. The new Harvard School extension is a reality check. That only 1/3 the 2021 upzoning of Ballard Heights is extremely intrusive and oppressive. One must go to Liggett Terrace, stand there and see this building, which actually it was Madison's idea to put it there. So we're happy that they're getting a pool. That's awesome. But it can be seen from Wagner Park too, actually. There's details in our June report for that and photos. By the way, the Center for Climate Solutions signature building is the plan to be near twice as high as that. And by the way, thanks to CB1 for your awesome resolution that's still relevant for 2020. Lastly, we welcome the planned stabilization of the
Roger, you've got
YMCA
15
and
seconds.
urge the same for the synagogue at the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, and these items were presented at the for a board meeting with Governor Challen. Okay.
There's a synagogue on Governor's Island. Don't start yelling at me.
Yes, there's the decommissioned synagogue.
And there's flyers over here on the website, sorry.
The decommissioned.
Correct.
From when it was a Coast Guard, I guess.
Alice?
Ah,
Okay, Mark Liebman is next. Mark?
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
hi, welcome. Sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Talk to the,
Good evening. My name is Mark Liebman. I've lived in Battery Park City since 2002. First, on the environmental monitoring as it relates to the Northwest Resiliency Project, I appreciate and applaud CB1 for securing the $800,000 commitment to independent air monitoring. However, the 4-month delay in releasing the first reports did not inspire confidence in transparency or accountability, nor is it realistic to expect our residents to interpret 100-page technical reports. Pregnant residents, seniors, people with asthma, and others deserve timely, plain English updates. Additionally, to date, no reports from the firm hired to provide independent oversight have been released, which is troublesome and concerning. I'm also concerned that independent monitoring now appears limited to air quality only, with no current plan to publicly disclose sound or vibration data. Given the landfill conditions of Battery Park City, active construction, pending litigation concerns, and the understandable anxiety of South Esplanade residents, especially those in Gateway 375, the authority must be more proactive and forthcoming about how safety is being monitored. With yesterday marking the 5th anniversary of the Champlain Tower disaster in Surfside, Florida, I urge CB1 to join in advocating for more transparency and access to real-time monitoring for air, sound, and vibration. I also ask CB1 to review the ongoing incidences of brown water throughout Battery Park and consider requesting that environmental monitoring now also include water quality testing. Second, regarding community outreach, I want to acknowledge the work of the BPCA Communications Outreach Team. However, response time to open questions and unresolved issues needs improvement. Questions raised at public meetings, by email, during drop-in sessions often go unanswered for weeks and weeks, sometimes requiring multiple follow-up requests. Others in the community have reported the same frustration. For residents living in the area, living through areas of disruptive construction, timely responses are not a courtesy, they're an essential part of transparency, accountability, and public trust. I urge CB1 to formally request that request the authority to review the process and provide sufficient resources to residents to receive clear, timely, and complete responses. Thank you.
Mark, could you email that statement to?
Can you email it to the office and we'll circulate it? And have you sent that pursuant to what Jeff has said to the BPCA yet?
This is virtually the same that I addressed at their board meeting earlier this month, revised for this audience. But I will send this comment to this.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Jacqueline Liang. Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Jackie. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator at Hudson River Park Trust, and I'm back this month to share some updates on our event programming. So last week, we celebrated Juneteenth with the Ladies of Hip Hop Collective for a night that celebrated Black American dance and the artistry of Black women. We also released our Broadway by the Boardwalk series lineup, which includes Grammy and Tony award-winning performers such as Jay Harrison Ghee and Ali Stoker. And these performances will start July 13th, every Monday at Clinton Cove. Starting July 9th, we are also having our Sunset Salsa series, so feel free to dance the night away every Thursday night on Pier 76. For a look at some of our local wildlife, our Wet Lab Research Aquarium is now open for you to take a sneak peek at the oyster toadfish or perhaps some fiddler crabs. And this is open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And our big city fishing events are also happening weekly on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for fun days of catch and release. And as you may know, this weekend is Pride Sunday, so the park is working hard to support the thousands of people that gather on Pier 45 and 46. And of course, we have 4th of July coming up. We're still waiting on more information about restrictions and access, but the Aerial Review and International Fall Ship Parade will be a really great time. And if you want more information, feel free to check out our website, hudsonriverpark.org/events. We also have programs, feel free to grab one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since you were so incredibly quick and fast, which I appreciate.
Yes.
People are used to seeing Robert Atterbury. I just want to welcome Jacqueline to the board. And if you have questions about the trust or anything, she's an awesome resource. And you don't have to get to Robert.
Nice to meet you all.
Thanks again. And Caroline Baptista. Welcome.
So some of you may have heard me speak earlier today on Independence Plaza and 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to repeat again for those who didn't hear. I own 41.5 Harrison Street. I'm a female landowner in New York City. My property is going to be fully enclosed inside the Independence Plaza development without legal access, emergency access, fire egress, and with an asthmatic child inside. The developer refuses to speak to me about this. The City Planning Commission has been made fully aware by legal notice, emails, and in person prior to the environmental review starting today. And it is egregious that this has progressed to environmental review at all. I included documents with descriptions of the site. I also included my land use lawyer, Chris Wright, who today called fraudulent the letter Bernardo sent to Landmarks to procure a letter of no impact. I asked the community board to demand the city not to accept an environmental review submission based on a developer committing fraud on landmarks and to halt the review process and investigate its legality. The Harrison Row houses, including 41, were one of the first ever landmark sites in the history of New York. When New York City decides history mattered enough to protect, it protected these houses. One could argue this was also a pivotal moment in American history where preservation began to matter to local governments because we decide our historic homes mattered enough to be preserved like those of our European counterparts. Allowing 41 Harrison's free wall to potentially be demolished by the Independence Plaza Tower, akin to the Gansevoort row houses, where a similar foundation structure was placed next to the excavation of a tower, threatens the very institution of landmarks. The combination of excavation of a permanent perpetual fire easement, deep excavation up to the free wall of 41 Harrison Street, and dewatering on a massive scale never seen before because it's the combined dewatering of the Resiliency Project happening at the same time as the Independence Plaza project, puts a wall of one of the first ever landmarks projects in New York City at risk of collapse per several structural engineers who looked at the house. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, wow, that went amazingly fast. Thank you so much. Let's just make sure I don't have anybody else who's online. Let me refresh. Pardon?
Online.
Hand online, and who's the hand from? Who's the hand from?
The number.
Okay, so, yeah, we have one person online. I'm not sure who they are. They have, they could have signed up. It may be the person that I called before because their number does not represent. So, Onesh, can you call on them, please? Thank you. Don't have to do the whole thing. Hi, if you are the person online with your hand up, Onesh has
Uh,
sent you a request.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello, this is Diane Stein. I thought I had signed up to speak
can you repeat your
online.
name, please?
Diane Stein.
Hi,
Can you hear
Diane,
me?
go ahead. Yep, go ahead,
Yes,
Diane.
okay, I have trouble with WebEx, but my name is Diane Stein. I'm a resident of Independence Plaza, and for identification purposes, I'm also a public member, Community Board One, and on the executive committee of the Tenants Association. And I wanted to, I'm opposed to the proposed 1,090-foot tower that Vornado and Stellar want to build in the middle of Independence Plaza. I want to thank Community Board One and Deborah Glick and Councilmember Marte for their testimony at today's department in the city planning meeting. And I understand also to thank the CB1 for a resolution. And I just want to say I can't understand why is a 1,990-foot tower being considered quote minor modification and not subject to the ULURP process, and why should it be allowed to go forward without a more stringent environmental review that would normally accompany a project of this scope, and why would it proceed without a city council vote and input from the community? I mean, there are problems. I object to it on affordability, environmental reason, many reasons. There are many reasons that have been stated in the testimony, and I urge the community board to pass the resolution and hold Department of City Planning feet to the fire to have the most stringent regulations regarding this ill-conceived project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So with that, I think we're good. I see no one else, no other hands, correct? Let's move on to our elected officials, and we're rolling quickly. We've had a request to go first, so come on. Oh, we're gonna close the public session at 6:35. Thank you so much. Sorry. Long day. We're gonna open the public hearing, which was comments on the mayor's office and Commission of Government Efficiency, COGE. Max, you signed up under that. Do you want to speak now or do you want to speak later?
Just trying to get my thing.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we will go, I hear and see no one online. Oh, not during the public hearing. Because I think we have opportunities.
Okay.
And then we'll close that at 6:36. And for those who are new board members who do not know, new board members, if you are an appointed board member, the open meeting laws and the guidance we've gotten from the borough president's legal team is you cannot double dip. And double dip meaning you can't speak as a public person in the public sessions because you are a public servant. So it's double dipping to speak in both places, and especially when it's about anything that the board will be opining on. Okay, so it doesn't, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, child, grandparent, anybody else in your family can absolutely speak as a regular member of the public, but if you are an appointed board member, you may not speak during the public session. Bob?
You can't make a public announcement, like today is my birthday, everybody's invited to the party tonight.
That's, like I said, happy birthday, Bob.
No, it's not my
But
birthday.
Where's the party?
If it is business that the board will
That's what I thought.
discuss,
Right,
that's where the line is.
I got it.
You wanna hand out flyers
Right, I got
for a birthday party, or for example, if Manhattan Youth actually is hosting an event that you're inviting the entire community to, feel free.
I'll do it by email. Yeah, thank you.
No, just.
I'd save you the time here.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that, anybody else have any questions on that? With that, we're closing the public hearing. Updates from elected officials,
We're closing at 6:37.
6:37.
Thanks so much.
Please introduce yourself for the cameras.
Yes, of course. Hello, my name is Hayden. I work for Assemblymember Grace Lee. My title is Director of Special Projects. Quick updates, they're just legislative, state budget passed, of course. Some of our biggest wins were no income tax on tips of up to $25,000. That's 60 million in annual relief for tipped workers. $1 billion in utility rebates, universal pre-K for children, and protections for immigrant neighbors, including prohibiting ICE agents from wearing masks, allowing New Yorkers to sue federal agents who violate their civil rights. And then third, ending most cooperation between ICE and local law enforcement. We specifically, as in Assemblymember Lee, specifically passed 4 bills this session, including a bill to protect drinking water by setting strict science-based limits on forever chemicals, those PFAS in the drinking water specifically. The EPA recently rolled back these limits, so really important to us to get them on the table. Number 2, a bill establishing a ground rent rebate program for Battery Park City residents to ensure they're not priced out of their communities. Third, a bill to help ensure that baby cosmetic products, including shampoos, have clearly labeled ingredients and display warning labels for possible carcinogens. And then fourth, a bill expanding eligibility for World Trade Center deaf and disability benefits for New York National Guard members. Some things that we introduced but did not pass were the Tear Down Tax Act that I mentioned last month. Additionally, the Transparency Act, the ICE Transparency Act that would require businesses in New York State who contract with ICE to disclose those agreements or face penalties, and it's just disclosing them. And then finally, we reintroduced a bill that would require large universities like NYU and Columbia to pay taxes. Yeah, so that was introduced but not passed. So we'll look forward to next year for getting those bills passed. But we're happy to pass 4. So.
Does anybody have any questions? Wow, we love that. That's
And then
amazing.
we had Rhythms of LES last week, and it was a blast. We're so happy that everyone came.
There we go.
That's all I got.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir, we love to say that.
No, because it's partisan. And you can't say it after November.
Who's up next?
That's a really funny joke. I'll explain that later. All right, next, Max. I don't see Dan. Correct.
I'm on.
I'm on
Thanks.
here.
Okay. Hi, Dan.
Sorry, Max. Is it okay if I go, or do you want to do people in the room first? Okay,
No,
I'll make it fast. Happy birthday, Bob! Really exciting. As many of you know, it was Senator Kavanaugh's last legislative session at the state Senate earlier this month. Some bittersweet, but throughout this year's budget, we expanded access to childcare, strengthened protections for immigrant communities, and made major investments in clean energy and environmental programs that will create jobs, lower costs, and help build a cleaner future for New Yorkers. Specifically with housing in the budget, we got it to include over $1 billion in capital funding, $140 million for NYCHA, $85 million for Mitchell-Lama preservation, $60 million for Mitchell-Lamas in New York City, $25 million for Mitchell-Lamas outside of New York City, $40 million for the vacant apartment repair and rehabilitation program. Besides the capital budget, another critical victory for affordable housing was the J51 program expansion. The J51 program provides a tax abatement for residential properties in New York City to rehabilitate multifamily housing. Through this year's budget, the J51 program was extended through June 30, 2036, and it was originally set to expire next month. We were able to eliminate the $1,000 base filing fee, capping the fee at $20,000 per application, and it now allows approved applicants to recover the equivalent for the filing fee through an additional abatement amount. So overall, the changes make J51 more accessible for property owners to apply. Another thing that we did, we're very proud of, that I think a lot of you are also following closely, was increasing the maximum income threshold for SCREE, DREE, SHE, and D. SCREE and DREE frees a tenant's contribution to their rent, and SHE and D provide tax exemptions for homeowners, including those in co-ops and condos. And through the state budget, we secured an increase in the maximum income threshold for these programs from $50,000 to $75,000. And now New York City has to pass its own legislation to implement that change locally before residents can qualify under the higher limit. And we're working directly with our partners in the city council to make sure that that change happens as soon as possible. And then I guess the last thing that I'll mention, just to keep it short, is Justine mentioned earlier our Battery Park City ground rent bill S1462, which would freeze the ground rent obligations for primary resident homeowners in Battery Park City who have an annual income at or below 150% of area median income, passed both the Senate and Assembly, and now it just has to be signed by the governor to become law. So as the assembly member said, we'll be around still until December. So please keep reaching out, even though the legislative session has passed. But I'll leave it there.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Dan?
Just thank you.
Of course,
Yeah,
Justine, we'll get there.
Exactly. Anybody? Nobody?
Yeah, this is on procedure. So if it was passed by this Assembly and the Senate, how long does the bill have? If the governor were to sign it?
For the governor to sign it, yeah.
Oh, I don't actually know off of the top of my head. I'll write to you, Eric.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, if you
Yeah,
can
of
write to
course.
all of us,
I'll write
it's a great.
to all of you. This is really something that I should definitely know. I'm on a bicycle right now, believe it or not. It's the most insane thing I've ever done at this meeting. But I needed to be somewhere. So thank you for bearing with me. I certainly will email you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you.
Be
Dan.
safe,
Yeah.
Dan.
Okay.
So
Have a good
Dan,
night, guys.
first-
Yeah.
First and foremost, be safe for where you're going. Secondly,
Sure.
feel free to text us. Zach or I will answer Eric during the meeting if it's tonight. If not, just email us and we'll get it back out because it's a valued question that everybody on the board should understand. All right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Thank you all.
Thanks.
All
All
right.
right. That's hilarious. From Congressman Goldman's office, please.
Hello, hi. I'm not riding a bicycle right now.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Exactly. Hello, my name is Josh Furman. I'm from Congressman Dan Goldman's office. I want to reiterate what both Assemblyman Glick and Dan said. We're here until December, so I appreciate everyone and feel free to reach out. We're here doing constituent services. Update from the Congressman. First, Dan and a bunch of other 70 lawmakers in Washington are demanding that the Office of Refugee Resettlement, or the ORR, is reimbursing work provided to minors and unaccompanied children. These lawyers have not been reimbursed since September 2025. And so we're working hard to make sure that they're actually paid for their work, protecting some of those vulnerable. Next, the Congressman introduced scores of legislation in Washington. The first one he introduced was a military hazing reform bill in honor of New York 10 residents Harry Liu and Danny Chen. The act is named after Lance Corporal Harry Liu, Representative Chu's nephew, and Private Danny Chen, a New York 10 Chinatown native, who both endured abuse and racist hazing from military superiors during their deployments to Afghanistan and died by suicide following their attacks. In addition, Congressman Goldman and Representative Ansari of the Arizona 3rd introduced the Voting Systems Protection Act, which is new legislation that would guard against interference by the federal government in our elections. Specifically, it would propose a blackout period for federal procedures 100 days prior to and after any election. In addition, Congressman Goldman introduced new legislation to install AEDs in NYCHA housing and other public housing developments. And finally, Congressman Goldman introduced new legislation to protect users of buy now, pay later, which would provide the same essential legal protections to customers of buy now, pay later that credit card users are currently. And thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Sure. Mary Ellen?
Oh, I apologize. Yes.
Any clarity on, I think, the impact on about resources?
Can you repeat the question so we can all hear? Sorry.
Sorry, Mariana.
Sorry. questions about these.
Or Josh, you can repeat it as well.
I was asking if you could provide any clarity or, as to like the anticipated impact on green card holders, from the, SCOTUS decision earlier today. And you said not yet.
No, of course. So I'm not aware of any guidance that we've been given thus far, and as soon as we do, I would love to share with you and the rest of the board if that's something that you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions? Okay, thanks. Before make Max get up and down again, sorry about that. I don't think we have anybody here from Assemblymember Fall's office, so Max, you're up. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Max Deutsch from Councilmember Christopher Marte's office. So to start with legislation, as I think we probably all saw 2 weeks ago, a carriage horse in Central Park collapsed and died. And then less than a week later, another horse bolted and an 18-year-old tourist named Romansh Mahajan was killed, really tragically. And these are not isolated incidents. We've seen over the years repeatedly horses either dying, running off, that have injured drivers, pedestrians, damaged property, and they've now killed someone. And so it's clear this industry cannot continue. And that's why Councilmember Marte has introduced Romansh's Law, which is the bill that would ban horse carriages in Central Park while transitioning the carriage drivers to other forms of employment. We're grateful that Speaker Menon has announced the bill is going to have a hearing in July. We believe the 15th. We'll definitely be sending out information once we have the actual details for the hearing. And then we're also, in the meantime, we are in conversations with the administration to how we can create a workforce development program for the carriage drivers, so we can both, right, protect the horses, protect the public, keep the workers employed. And so, yeah, we'll definitely let you all know once that's done. And then also earlier this month, Councilmember Marte introduced a bill to create a city bike discount for CUNY students. This joins a package of legislation we have with Councilmember Farrah Lewis. We have one bill to create a city bike discount for high school students over 16, and another to create a city bike discount for seniors over 65. And we, last Saturday, me and the council member, we joined kind of student activists, senior activists, and we did a ride and rally. We rode from Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn to City Hall and ended in a rally in support of the package at City Hall, which was just really fun. It was a beautiful day right before the next one. It was a lot of fun. On the budget side, so the city budget, it's expected to pass on Monday, so that's actually coming really soon. And so any nonprofit organizations or agencies who have applied for funding from our office, you should expect to hear from us by the end of July with award letters detailing the allocation. In the meantime, organizations should work on their passport and contracting requirements to prevent delays to their council allocations. The timelines on when funds can be drawn will vary from group to group and the circumstances, but if you have any questions on anything budget related, you can call our office and ask to speak with Andy Lee, our budget director. You can also email them at anli@council.nyc.gov. Land use update. So as we've spoken about already earlier today, Councilmember Marte joined residents to testify at the DCP at Department of City Planning first hearing on the proposed luxury tower at Independence Plaza. The meeting was on the scope of work for the required environmental impact statement, and the council member urged the scope of study to include residential displacement, water infrastructure capacity, and the impacts of schools and community facilities in the area. He also reiterated his opposition to the project, as did the vast majority of those who testified, and will continue to push against this project as it moves through this phase of public review. And then lastly, community updates. So earlier this month, Councilmember Marte joined Speaker Julie Menon in Battery Park to announce the city council did an investigation and released a report on the ticket vending scams in the Battery. And so now we've been working with the speaker's office to advocate to try and get more enforcement in the park, as well as the study outlines a whole plan to increase kind of awareness and education for tourists, both through signage and just advertisement campaigns to let people know that the Statue of Liberty Cruises is the only company where people can go to Liberty Island to see the Statue of Liberty. Everyone else is not taking them there. And so in the meantime, though, we're also making really good progress on our bill to completely change the licensing structure and make it easier to enforce against the ticket sellers. And so we're in conversations with the bill drafter, with Statue of Liberty Cruises.
It's the birthday boy. What can I tell you?
So yeah, we're working with we have a bill drafter, Statue of Liberty Cruises. We've been in constant conversation the last couple of weeks. We're like getting like the details of the bill. And the good news is like we've been talking, the administration is fully supportive of the bill. The speaker's office wants it, so we think we can really just fast track this and we get it done and get it passed. Yeah.
Keep finish and then I have something to tell you
Okay,
that
yeah.
you don't know yet.
Okay, and then lastly, at the end of last month, Councilmember Marte hosted a walkthrough of Canal Street along with Assemblymember Lee, staff from all the overlapping elected officials. We had NYPD, DOT, DCWP, DSNY, the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. We had staff from multiple deputy mayor's offices to discuss the safety and quality of life issues from the counterfeit vending on Canal Street. We kind of showed them what the vendors were out there, so we showed them what it looks like. On that day, we brought pictures to show them what it looks like at its heaviest traffic, and kind of explain just the impact it's having on residents, pedestrians, the businesses, and that we need a kind of a comprehensive long-term solution that goes beyond just the occasional sweeper raid by the NYPD. And so I think it was really productive. I think everyone left understanding that the current situation is untenable. It can't continue. Something needs to be done. And I got the chance to talk to the mayor's office this week, and they said that they are really close to having like an actual like comprehensive plan to propose to us and in the community. And so we'll definitely keep you all updated once we get that. Yeah.
Anybody have any, oh my goodness, before I go, I'll let everybody else go. Okay, we're gonna go rounds. Brendan, Morton, Brendan, Mitch, Vicky, Eric, in that order, and Joel.
Do you know how many carriage drivers or employees there are?
It's about like 100 to 150.
And then the Central Park fall within his district?
No, but the Central Park Conservancy is very supportive of the supportive of the bill, and we're working with them.
And then unrelated to that, for the Battery Park issue, could I also encourage for that marketing and signage? I believe that the official people actually have like specific color vests. I think like that visual part should be identified on the signage to say only go to people who prefer the red vest.
Yeah, I know the Battery Park Conservancy sent a letter to the mayor today, kind of outlining things like that.
Oh, that's actually where I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay.
Next person. All right, before we go, let me sort of announce, we did a new task force around the battery because the groups of us decided it was taking too long for legislation, no shade intended, but legislation is really a long run. So it is the Battery Conservancy, Manhattan Community Board 1, the Downtown Alliance, the Ellis Island Foundation, Statue Cruise, and working with other agencies who could not sign on to necessarily to the task force. We met a couple of times, you'll see it in my chair report. We came up with short, medium, and long-term solutions and asking the mayor's office for an emergency order to bypass some things to make immediate changes that we developed a plan for in the last, couple months that we developed a plan for to be able to put in action. And it's a potential to trial it for 30, 60, or 90 days to get us through FIFA, to protect all the tourists, protect the business, protect, soccer games in the park and everything else from the additional quality of life issues that up to 100 ticket hawkers a day are what is surrounding there, and the bicyclists and everything else. So to protect them. So hopefully the mayor's office will engage on the task force. That would be a nice complement to the long-term solutions that the council members propose.
Thanks.
Now, we'll go around in order. Mitch?
Concerning the horses, which I support the resolution, you said you just to ban the horse carriages in Central Park.
No, it'd be anyway, yeah.
It would be the whole.
Because they only exist in Central Park,
I know
but the
that.
bill, would apply
It used to
citywide.
be on the streets and we got them off the street, so it would be all inclusive, not just Central
Yeah.
Park, correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Vicky?
I have the same support on animal cruelty and the safety of these animals. It's sort of our responsibility in many ways because we humans take everything over and control it. If this doesn't stop, I won't make me move out of this city. It's so vile. And it's been going on forever. And please don't mention 100 or 150 people as any kind of major impact on unemployment. I mean, on a daily basis, some small office loses that many. I mean, can you see how incredibly important this is? It cannot continue under any circumstance.
Yeah, no, fully agree. And to your point too, some advocates this week foiled the Department of Health. And they got in December, the Department of Health had sent an independent veterinarian to the stables. And they actually, again, the report was hidden, but they got it through a foil. And basically the veterinarian said they refused access to like actually do checks on the horses, but like the conditions were not good. And a lot of the horses had visible injuries.
Exactly, and I've read before, a couple of years ago, that, you know, their advocates were saying, all these animals are safe and they're well taken care of. You know, what else are we gonna do? You know, shoot them up, euthanize them, my God, now they're being well taken care of. Not true, and I don't wanna see animals hauling people around today. It is so inappropriate, all under animal cruelty.
You need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
I think we have Eric next.
Yes, actually same topic, but I actually appreciate the carriage horse industry. I think the shortcoming has been, as an example about the conditions, the safety, the horses have to be checked. I mean, I think I'm looking online to see which agency actually oversees it.
Sorry, which part do you support?
No,
here?
I think the carriage horse, I think it provides.
No, I'm not being quiet.
Yeah.
I won $400 at the racetrack.
Okay, can I ask, while Tammy's absent, that I will probably be even worse than she is about this. So Eric is speaking, you've spoken, he may not agree. That's what we learned on Tuesday night. Maybe you weren't there. We are
Right.
going to try to get along and work collaboratively. So Eric.
Okay, thanks. I just want to say, I think that the shortcoming was in the regulation, like who's actually checking up on these horses. I hate to destroy an industry that's been around for a few hundred years. Look, it's about taking care of the animals as well. But I think the carriage industry, it brings a certain charm to Central Park, and I just hate to get rid of it all at once.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. Joel, I thought somebody. Okay, thanks, Joel.
I love this.
My next.
Yeah.
Okay, two things. So I think it's vending problem has been going on since Julie Manning was in office. It's not a secret, they're out there. So if you by tonight and say, we're gonna come up with a comprehensive plan, it's been going on for 30 years.
Are you talking about the ticket vending or Canal Street? Ticket vending.
No, I'm getting into the juicy part.
Joel, you wanna move up a little, cause.
Joel,
So speak up.
believe it or not, Joel, your dulcet toned tones.
So the ticket, yes, so the issue with the ticket vending in the Battery is that, again, currently, right, that you have ferry companies, right? These ferry companies, they hire the ticket sellers, but the ticket sellers, they're the ones who have the license. And so the individual ticket seller is licensed to sell a ticket. If they are breaking a rule about what they're allowed to do, they get a $25 to $50 fine, and that's it, right? So what our bill is doing, right, we have legislation, is to completely change all of that. So the ferry companies themselves and the various companies they license out to, though they're the ones who have to get the license. And so that way, and the bill creates a lot of provisions so that if their workers, if they get like, again, it depends on different time frames, but let's say if they get 3 violations in a year, so if 3 of their workers, right, are selling tickets and acting aggressively, right, selling fraudulently, then they lose the license and they would no longer be able to legally operate or sell tickets anymore. It also increases the violations to thousands of dollars. And so we think by moving the licensing to the company, creating a process for them to lose their license to legally operate and increasing the fines, that would actually create a system that could actually hold the companies accountable to change the behavior of the workers.
Thank you. When do you plan that to go into effect?
So again, we're in the drafting process now. Again, we're pretty close to being done drafted. Again, we're talking to the speaker and the mayor. I think the hope is we can get it in the next few weeks done. And then once it's introduced, we'll have all the stakeholders supportive of it. We can fast track it and get it done. And the way we have it drafted now is, again, we're gonna have to hear from the administration what they're okay with, but we have it now as a 30-day implementation to get it just done really quickly.
Okay, and the last thing, thank you. Just to be a little bit more specific about what you're going to be doing with cleaning up Canal Street.
Yeah, so again, we had every relevant agency there, and again, a lot of senior staff from the administration. I don't know what their plan's gonna be. I've been asking them for details, even just like hints of what they're gonna do. They said they don't have anything to share yet, but again, with like, it's gonna have to come from City Hall. City Hall is telling us that they're putting something together, like an actual interagency approach. That is like a long-term solution, and so, yeah, we'll just have to wait to see what they propose, and then we can start a conversation based on
Okay, so
that.
this has been going on even longer than the ticket vending problem.
Yeah.
And then when the feds, about 6 or 8 months ago, came and cleaned it up, everybody was running around with their hair on fire because Trump came and cleaned it up. Then the next day went back to being what it was. So I think you do need a comprehensive plan. This has been going on probably before you were born. It's illegal. We know it's illegal. It's money laundering and plus and plus and plus. So I really think it's important that the city really comes up with a plan to finally end this and not depend on the federal government to clean up on this.
Agreed.
Thank you. All right, next.
I was just wondering, the task force, you mentioned some short-term, long-term. Are you able to like go into detail about that or?
I can, I think the letter went out half an hour ago, so yeah, I think I can. Let me get that for you. The letter go out, I don't know.
Yeah, I got it somewhere.
That was gonna be a bad one if it didn't. Give me just a sec. I will find it. Is there anybody else who has questions while I'm looking for it?
There's a power outage on the West Side Highway.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just a reminder, and for some of the new board members, the ticket sellers at the Battery was something that this community board initiated that conversation through having the DCWP, the agency that issues the licenses to those current vendors, into a community board meeting and created the framework that the legislation is built off of.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we could be a part of some of those last pieces of conversation on the legislation, I think it would be helpful.
Yeah, once we have like a draft, I'll share it with you guys.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, like get it to a hearing.
Yeah.
Get it to a hearing.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Dear Mayor Mamdani, we write on behalf of the Battery Conservancy, Manhattan Community Board 1, the Alliance for Downtown New York, the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island Foundation, and Statue City Cruises to share the attached coalition statement calling for immediate action to address the resurgence of illegal ticket scammers operating near the Battery. Every day, nearly 100 unauthorized sellers engage in deceptive and fraudulent practices that harm visitors, undermine legal tourism businesses, and damage New York City's reputation as one of the most iconic, most visited and iconic destinations. With July 4th, Sail Forth 250 and the FIFA World Cup expected to bring millions of visitors to Lower Manhattan, we believe immediate action is needed. The attached statement outlines practical enforcement measures that can be implemented right away along with longer-term policy recommendations. We know that your administration recognizes the importance of protecting visitors from fraud. That's reflected in your recent public service announcement on tourist scams. We appreciate your leadership on this issue and would welcome the opportunity to work together to address this urgent challenge. Thank you for your time and consideration. It's signed by Paolo, the president of the Battery. It's signed by myself, Jessica Lappin, Jesse Brackenberry, who's the president and CEO of the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island Foundation, and Timothy O'Brien, the senior VP of Ferries and Concessions for Statue City Cruises. So that went out this afternoon. And we all know the issues, so I won't go there. What we committed to do, what we need is a mayoral emergency order convening an interagency task force and committing immediate policy releasing resources to maintain targeted enforcement in and around the Battery through FIFA World Cup Sail 250 July 4th and the busy months ahead. Enforcement could include NYPD officers to make arrests of the crime of fraudulent accosting, NYPD and New York City Park Enforcement Patrol presence to maintain park rules that prohibit ticket sales on New York City Parks property. Understand that the Battery goes to the curb. It's not just in the walls. That parkland actually goes to the curb. Okay, keep going. NYPD officers presence to allow City Cruise ambassadors to safely maintain a multilingual customer service present for tourists visiting the statue. Authorized Statue City Cruises informational pop-up booths to provide ticket and tour information, and authorization to allow Statue City Cruises to hire private security detail to help support the safety of the Statue City Cruise Ambassadors. It's an important thing to know that they had volunteers, they had a student program, and they canceled all of those due to safety concerns for the staff and the kids who are volunteers. So we know what the problems are. This was our immediate concern to basically ambassador it and NYPD it and put kiosks out at all the entrances to come, so we can be present for the tourists and the public and the bicycle riders and the pedestrians and the business people. And then there's a longer term solution which talks about the legislation as well as a permanent visible location for Statue of Liberty ferry departures to reduce confusion, deter scammers, and give visitors an easily identifiable location. It'll go out to everybody at Kingman Center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have anybody else here from any of the?
Yes.
Oh, Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Welcome.
Yes, I was thinking, what do you think? Yeah, I was at the first precinct community council meeting for the NYPD, so that's why I was late. So I'm sure Tammy or Zach will announce this in the report, but we have new community board members and I'll let them introduce the new members if they haven't done so already. But yeah, we finished our community board appointments. We have a good number of new members here. And thank you for all for joining us, and those who are returning, thank you for coming as well. So I'm Andrew from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. Manhattan Borough President Brad William Siegel was excited and happy to join the mayor and other elected officials and fans for the Knicks parade last Thursday. It was a wonderful time. If you were able to see it, it was hard to get to for lots of folks who didn't show up before 6 a.m. apparently. And he did proclaim June 11th, 2026 as OG Anunnaki Appreciation Day after Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Earlier last week, Manhattan Borough President Brad William Siegel wrote to Governor Hochul and Mayor Mamdani to urge the state and city to posthumously issue a pardon and apology to Eve Adams, a Polish Jewish immigrant arrested in 1926 and convicted for the crime of being a lesbian. She was later deported and later murdered in Auschwitz-Birkenau. Eve's story is one of the most unjust in New York's history. 100 years after her arrest and subsequent murder by the Nazis at Auschwitz, we have the obligation and opportunity to say plainly that she deserved better. And Borough President Brad William Siegel also joined the governor, the mayor, and FIFA President Gianni Infantino to inaugurate a brand new soccer pitch at Tavern on the Green in Central Park. And we're hosting a watch party there at Summer Stage this Saturday, as well as a watch party at the United Palace in the Heights. Free and open to the public. I can send you guys the flyers and more information. I'll send it to the district manager and chair.
Any questions for Andrew?
Sorry, I got two more dates I'll quickly mention. I'm sorry. We have hired a first ever Manhattan Director of Borough Organizing. This person his name is Alejandro Corriat. He'll be responsible for dealing with tenant associations, tenants' rights, educating them, helping them address their issues on the ground, in the community centers, at the meetings, in the apartment buildings. And we also opened up an immigrant welcome center at a Northern Manhattan office at 431 West 125th Street. This immigrant welcome center will be a walk-in resource for legal referrals, multilingual benefits, navigation, know your rights materials, tenant protections, and more. And one last thing I'll quickly mention is that we released a neighborhood report card on dog waste. We looked at 311 data. We worked with Beta NYC to analyze this data. Beta NYC is a civic tech nonprofit that we work with. And this neighborhood report card tracks where the most complaints are within the borough of Manhattan in terms of people not picking up their dog waste. And we'll be doing this for various quality of life issues. So, in the coming year, we'll focus on, for example, sanitation and various other quality of life issues. So stay tuned. The report's on our website, manhattanbp.nyc.gov. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll leave that. Thank you.
Mark?
Talking about dogs. There are an awful lot of people walking their dogs off their leashes. More than I've ever noticed before. Is that something you guys can tackle or forward to whoever to kind of start highlighting it to get enforcement?
Yeah, it depends on the park or the green space. So
In the streets.
on the streets.
Yeah, they go dogs following the street. No leash, that kind of thing.
Well, in the meantime, I'll look into it, but in the meantime, please file everyone's complaint.
And because we know, and the borough president doesn't, we requested the dog complaint data from the Battery Park City Authority because people don't often complain through 311 about dog waste. They call Allied Security as they've been instructed. So we requested 6 years worth of reports on dog complaints of Battery Park City to send to Esther to update her reporting to include that section of our area. Anything else? Go ahead.
On that note, something that we are trying to have conversations with City Hall about, so we would love your support, is actually getting dogs some space to actually touch grass in downtown Manhattan. The plans of City Hall Park Conservancy actually have to study, but there is actually no place for dogs to touch grass in downtown. You have to go all the way to West Fourth Street for them to even touch like earth. We have a good amount of dog parks and dog runs, but everywhere downtown, every green space says dogs are not allowed to be on that space.
Even the battery. No, the battery.
The battery's on place, but that's one place and that's miles away for the majority of the community.
Okay, but it is downtown,
But it's also 9 AM to 9 PM.
right, but it is downtown.
It is downtown, but that's one place with a limited amount, and it's miles away for the majority of.
I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, stop,
I'm not disagreeing.
stop for both of you. One exists, we need more.
More green space for dogs.
And we did bring that up today, Borough Board, when the poop report was announced, to ask her to work and collaborate to ensure if you're going to add the residents, that you add the amenities that are required to support. Bob?
I would just give a suggestion for people that want to work on this. At the dog run, which is a big space between PS 234 and our community center, it's cement and it smells. It would be a lot better to make it, and I've said that to a few people.
It's asphalt.
It's asphalt. And it would be a lot better to make that like a nice dirt and, keep it clean that way. With a little drainage would be a lot, it would be a lot better for dogs, and it would be mostly a lot better for me.
Have you ever reached out to the group that runs it?
The Parks Department runs it now.
Are you sure?
The Parks Department runs it now.
All right, it was private. Go ahead.
I want to add to the comment is that for the green space, that's actual grass. And that it's not the AstroTurf, which is harmful to children and also to animals as well. So to make sure that it's actual real grass.
No.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else?
That's not a cat run.
No, thanks. All right. Notwithstanding anything else, I think we're good with our electeds. I see no one else in the room. Let's move forward. District managers report. Zach, take it away. Which means we need slides.
I got an update from Dan Byers on the.
We didn't do the minutes. Apologies. I'm so on my game today. We can do the adoption of the 2026 minutes. At this point, that means that members of the public are no longer recognized to speak unless you're called on by the chair for an informational purpose of clarity, because you are part of the business session. For the new members, once you call for roll call for the minutes, that's when the business starts, and that's when your clock starts ticking to sure you're paying attention, nobody's working on the sides, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead.
Couple of things, for the new members, feel free to correct me when I pronounce your names. Two, also feel free to abstain if you've not read the actual minutes. And then two, this is a Brendan point. Y'all, we got a lot to get through, like a lot. So, please, let's reflect back on Tuesday and be all about some brevity. And keep that in mind as we go through this. So with that, I will do roll call. Palmeruso,
Yeah.
Blank,
yes.
Bucksbaum,
Yes.
Cameron,
Cameron, yes.
Cassell,
Giselle, yes.
Chang,
And yes.
Chapman,
Chapman, yes.
Sarkisian. Cole,
Oh, yes.
Coleman. Foreman,
Gorman, yes.
Puccia,
Puccia, yes.
Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
Dimmitt,
Dimick, yes.
Espinoza.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, Rick, the new board members, they should.
Don't
they have
worry.
to- Yes.
They don't need to.
They got,
They are officially board members as of the date that they were appointed, and they count towards quorum. They do not need to.
And they did view the minutes,
Oh, they-
because they
yeah.
were linked to
Correct.
yeah.
the
I
document.
appreciate it. Thank you, parliamentarian one or two, but nope, they're eligible.
Flores. Frito, Pamela. Pamela Frito. Also, you have to have your camera on. I saw her online
It's not
before.
there, she left.
Okay. Friedman. Friedman. Roman. Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Goldstein.
Goldstein, yes.
Goodkind.
Good kind, yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
James.
James, yes.
Kay.
Hey, yes.
Cannell.
Canal, yes.
Copel.
Yes.
Copel. Lerner.
Lerner, yes.
Lewinson.
Yes.
Lyon. Meltzer.
Yes.
Minsley. Moore. Tanya. Portia Corey.
Corey, yes.
Rios. Robinson.
Yes.
Yes.
I heard it, Rios, and I heard Robinson. Sean Scott. Shear.
Sure, yes.
Star. Virasong.
Some yes.
Thompson, yes. Townley.
Yes.
Tyre Bean. Lynn. Ware.
Yes.
Washburn.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
Zelter.
Zelter, yes.
Alright. Mansley.
Yes.
I
think that's it.
Is Jason here? I thought so.
I thought so.
Okay.
Okay, for new members, we're gonna get to learn all the way along the way. If your name is called, you have to say for the minute. It is how you're accounted for attendance. You have to be accounted for attendance is for the majority of the meeting, which means roll call, which is how we start and we close the meeting. To be considered present for attendance, you have to be here for a majority of the meeting. Which in our board is more than half. Okay. All right, so with that explanation, let's move on to the district manager's report.
Okay, so in between, Dan Byers' call and now, we got an update, that said if the governor has 10 days, Eric, to, sign a bill once it's delivered to the governor. So that delivery piece is the important caveat, because they can wait till the end of the year, to do that. Okay, so,
Who's they?
the legislature.
Okay, but that means it goes to your staff, not the staff can hold on to it. So
The
it's
the
what?
legislature, they package a bunch of
Yeah, I
bills
understand.
together, send it to the governor,
Okay,
but sometimes they don't send it till December.
got it.
Okay, so a few updates on some DOT projects moving forward that the board voted on. The Brooklyn Bridge bike redesign is up, and you can see a photo over there. The Cliff Street crossing is moving forward and was approved. I don't have a photo of that, but
I think we got one from Eric.
Eric, did they start work on that?
Yes, well, see, they put in the stop sign, but they didn't put in the crosswalk marking, so it's only partially done.
So-
And then they also need to prune the trees because it blocks the sign.
Can't see it.
Great, it's moving forward with still some work to do.
I think it.
We had complaints about the Wall Street dog run having a lot of pigeon waste on it, and so state DOT put pigeon spikes up on the FDR Drive, underneath the FDR Drive. So that's a big improvement there. And the Canal Street redesign, I know that's been important to a lot of folks. DOT is phasing that project, with phase one being west of Broadway. So they will be presenting west of Broadway Canal redesign to our board in July. Okay, next slide. Fund for the City of New York Fellow. We again have an opportunity to have a fellow for the community board. We had two last year, one that did our complaint database that's on the website.
Yeah.
The 311 complaint database on the website, and also DOB filings. You can see it on our website. That was a great project to check out all the 311 complaints over the past 6 years. And we also had a fellow who worked with the land use committee, who worked on available air rights for buildings in Lower Manhattan. So if you have a project that you're interested in a fellow to work on for us, they are paid by the Fund of the City of New York. And if you go on their website, they have examples of other projects that they do. Propose them to me and we'll send them off to them, but you have to be the one working with that fellow, and it's usually weekly meetings for about an hour a week. Okay, next slide. Okay, if you look at Chambers and Broadway, DOB is showcasing their new sidewalk sheds. You can see examples of those, the yellow and the blue. The blue one actually is, so the blue one is their light one and the yellow one is their heavy one. The blue one actually has a transparent option for their roof. So I recommend you go by, check it out. They are not available yet, but they should be available coming soon. It might be something that the board suggests buildings use or developers use when they're using sidewalk sheds, because they do appear to be a pretty big improvement, at least in my opinion.
Are they gonna be available in those colors?
They will be available in colors, yes. Yes, and their website shows you more information.
So funnily enough, I was watching the show from 2000 and that building was in the background and they had a yellow sidewalk shed.
Oh my God.
So I don't know.
I don't know if that was a time warp or what. Okay, so some changes, sorry, this is a little small, but some changes for July committee meetings. Battery Park City Committee, because of the 4th of July holiday. Battery Park City Committee will be the 16th, which is Thursday. And Transportation will be the 22nd, which is Wednesday, so those are a little off schedule. They're usually the first week of the month. And again, Youth and Waterfront are separated, so Youth on the 14th, Waterfront on the 21st. And I believe that covers the changes. Yes. Okay, so, and you can always go to our website, click calendar, and you can see our current calendar.
Okay, what's wrong? All right, nope, I need the slide before that one. Okay, chairperson's report. All right, awesome. Things to note. It was a great day last week for New York. And as crazy and beautiful as it was, and no matter what kind of heroes you think you have, it's actually the guy at the bottom who's my hero. Because 2 hours later, if you walk down Broadway, it was freaking pristine. It was amazing. DSNY, a huge shout out to the NYPD and DSNY for the cleanup efforts that we did. I mean, I've been here 30 years. I've never seen so many people in one space at one time. It was literally people dripping off everything that was possible. And so I want to say that. My slide did not update. There was a little text box there that said, new members welcome. So we're gonna do a lightning speed introduction. So if you are a new member to Community Board One from this round, raise your hand. Fantastic. So oh no, hands up, I didn't take them down yet. Alrighty, so we've got 5 in the room today. We have 7 total. Pam was online. I'm not sure if there's any more. And we're gonna go around the room this way. And intros. You get to start. This is your first.
Hi everyone, Kelly Washburn. Yeah, happy to be here.
And you will see the updated list will come out tomorrow from Lucy.
Just a little shorter next time. please.
But I'll be brief.
We're going short. John?
Sean Ware, happy to be here as well. Thank you.
Cindy Espinoza, happy to be here.
Ruth Hubbard, happy to be here as well. I'm on the transportation and licensing committee now.
There you go.
Elise Bucksbaum, very proud to be here.
Awesome.
Elise Bucksbaum, very proud to be here.
Yeah, we'll go backwards this way.
Again, Ruth Hubbard. I just joined the transportation and licensing committee.
Cindy Espinoza, licensing and youth and education.
Oh, sorry, Kelly Washburn, youth and quality life housing. Yes.
Alrighty, so we have 2 other board members. They're not here tonight. Pam was online and then I'm not sure where, I think Lynn was traveling today. So welcome them. Thank you very much. Next slide. Okay, it was a busy month. I want to say, two most important things I think I did this month. I'm only kidding. There was a Battery Conservancy honored Maury Price, who retired, who founded the Battery Conservancy. And I have with me the program from that night, because the most amazing thing, and I'm gonna scan and send it around, was the change. They did the before and after photos. It was one of the most amazing transformations that you can see for truly what people paying attention to the public realm, what can happen. It's amazing. It's the hope that we have for our streets, our green streets, our parks, the east side. It was phenomenal. On the bottom, you see the opening of the cupola, which is at the top of this building. It is free to go tour. There's a link on their website. They take 5 people per 15 minutes, I think. And you can sign up for free. It's accessible to everybody and anybody. We did make a request to do a community board tour before a full board meeting. They're gonna see if they can accommodate us in the fall to do that, to have everybody go up. They close at 5. I said if they can have it open between 5 and 6, so board members could get here, go and tour it. Stand by, we'll let you know.
The hours.
It's on the website. Go take a look. I think it's like 9 to 5, basically.
9 to 5.
There you go. Andrew, thank you. Perfect.
Center 360.
Yep. So, we did the ticket vendor task force. That was one of my biggest things. And we met with CECM today, which I'll do on my next slide. Go ahead. Okay, so as you can tell, the battery's been getting a lot of focus. So there's Julie Menon, who was there with Chris. And then there's been a lot of focus. That's the, my favorite memorial that's over in the battery. That happens to be the Merchant Marine Memorial. So we have the new focus about the task force. Pier 15, breaking news. Doc NYC is going to come back to us in July about what's going on to update us. And the JFK ferry will not be joining us.
Wait,
in
hold,
July.
hold, let me get this out of here.
And that's Joe. The office is closed in July on the 3rd. That means that please do not email anybody after 3 o'clock on the 2nd and then wonder why you don't get an answer before at least noon on the following Monday. And I say that only with due reverence for the office, who comes in and they're gonna get a bucket of emails about stuff for July 4th, and they're not gonna answer anybody because they're not there on the 3rd. All right, just if I didn't have experience of how it worked last year, I wouldn't be reminding everybody. Martine, who's our part-time land use consultant, did the public comment today for IPN. Thank you very much. And there are people watch parties, and I'm delighted to announce that Rosa can share. Gotham Park has watch parties that are assigned. What dates?
Yes, it's on July 10th. It's going to be the quarterfinal. We don't know the teams yet. It's gonna be 2 p.m. We're gonna kick off with Coco Azul, and then after that, 3 o'clock, we're going to have the actual kickoff. And everybody's invited and it's free to the public, so come, it's literally just a 1 minute walk.
Right. And there's also FIFA watch parties. The schedule's been posted at the Battery, which is a joint partnership with the Battery and the Battery Park City Authority. So it's awesome. If you can also go to Seaport Entertainment over at the Seaport, they have watch parties there. Depending on your style and your tone, there's something for everybody in Lower Manhattan. We did send a request to Battery Park City Authority for mitigation and more seating.
Can I just add to that? There's also a watch party on Governor's Island.
Thank you, I forgot about that one. Thank you very much, Richard. Yes, there's a watch party, that could be a lot of fun, spend the day, enjoy the park.
What date is that one?
Do you know what date those are?
Off the top of my head.
I'll make sure that we send them out from the office, we'll try and find that. Richard, if you can forward that,
Yeah.
Rosa, if you can forward it, we'll get it all sent and posted. We sent a letter to the Battery Park City Authority because we've heard from many people about quality of life issues, mitigation, seating, people saying there's not even a place, I'm old, I can't make it from the subway home. There used to be seating, there's no seating anywhere. So we sent them a letter, we requested what we requested. It's not anything I think we haven't said before. We've asked for the dog run to be open. I will say that you will notice during Sailforth 250, they'll be moving the fences to accommodate the needs at Brookfield Pier and the Navy boats, and opening up parts of the Esplanade for that. They'll also be in September moving the fencing for the 9/11 memorial. So we think you can probably do something for the public. July 19th on Governor's Island. Thank you. Yeah, all right. Go back one, just real quick. At the bottom of it, I don't remember what it says. Okay, please look out for your emails for an August announcement. It'll stay there. That's when they're gonna do trainings. The borough president announced this morning, they're gonna do a community board reception in the fall. They're looking for a place to do it that's open for all community board members. We proposed a working group with Community Board One, the New York Stock Exchange and Downtown Alliance to have and Community Board One would get all of the residential buildings in that closed block area to have discussions, not individually, but to come together and talk about the area and the needs, because everybody complains about everything else that's over there, and trying to find a way to improve the quality of life for the people who live there, the pets who live there, the people who work there, and the tourists who come and visit. So that is more details to follow. If you got a note that you have a new board member, please reach out to them. Lawn repairs are ongoing for Washington Market Park. I'm not gonna say much about that one. And City Hall Park, and the Conservancy has new parks, so please go check that out. And they're working on the sidewalks around City Hall Park. They fixed it well enough for the parade, but they cannot commit right now to having the entrance on the south side of City Hall Park opened permanently, because they don't know the extent of the damage of the sidewalk that's outside that. So they are, before the parade, they had ripped up the whole sidewalk. They were down there investigating. I believe they're ripping it up again to go back down and investigate after they closed it for the parade. So you'll see that back and forth, in and out, and in and out. The information for July 4th, there will be a lottery that opens to the public. It will either open tomorrow or Monday, and it will come out from Notify NYC. I urge you to be Johnny on the spot and take a look at that. We are still checking to see if community boards or agencies will get any kind of location. I'll let you know. I will say they did an extraordinarily great look for ADA accessibility. There'll be, instead of one spot, there'll be 3 spots, which is a really nice change. What else did they announce?
So just a question, those spots that are for viewing the morning sailing ships, right? So.
No, this is for fireworks at night.
So for the morning, from 9 to 12, probably all of you will get an email from me that we're gonna open up. I was talking to Alice about this over the weekend. We're gonna open up Pier 25 and for the seniors, because some of them were around when these boats were made.
Thank you very much.
And they're gonna be honored by getting a spot on Pier 25 and I'll give everybody emails for the seniors in the community and the community members. I'm still working with the police. They haven't told me anything yet, so.
They're prioritizing the fireworks show for right now.
So in the morning, they don't
So-
care.
Probably not. They'll be very busy.
Yeah, so we'll
But-
have a way of getting and escorting seniors to a safe place, because I think it's gonna be crowded on these piers.
So there are fireworks on the east and west side. The fireworks for where they are putting the efforts, they're viewing sites along Brooklyn and along the east side. There are far more ADA accessible sites this year, which I'm actually excited about.
Yeah.
And there's public restrooms, that they're putting out, which I'm even more excited about. So I think it's gonna be good. If you know a company or a residential building that is east of Water Street. Everybody know what I'm talking about? East of Water Street. They are in the frozen zone. If they are in the frozen zone and they plan to have people at their homes or in their offices or in any part of the building, they need to reach the community board office before Monday. So I beg you to talk to your friends, your neighbors, because you cannot have guests coming to a party without a plan in mind. And we've worked with city events to make sure that we get the messages out and people can do it. They must use an Eventbrite or similar type of RSVP form. So if I was going to Christine's house and she's in the frozen zone, I'm gonna show my phone for my Eventbrite ticket to a party at her house.
Okay.
That is the only way that your guests will be able to get there. And then there are other information for small businesses and workers that we can share with them, what a kind of identification and process they need to have if they are entering the frozen zone after 3 p.m. on July 4th.
What's the frozen zone again, Tammy?
East of Water.
East of water from what height? From where to where?
So, Peck Slip,
Peck Slip School?
Peck Slip,
Peck Slip
Peck Slip.
to,
Peck Slip Park.
In my building right there.
You can
That's
get
one
out,
of
you
the
just might not get back in.
After 3 p.m.
Peck Slip to
It,
the hell?
Maiden or the Battery,
Okay, and
Actually-
who do they call? I'm gonna put this in
the
the
office,
office?
call the office.
Okay.
Yep, it's really Lucy.
Sorry, Lucy.
Email Lucy. Because Lucy and I, we're trying to help the public this year to do something different to make sure that the public understands what the frozen zones are and how they can have friends over, if they're having friends over, or if it's a company in that area.
So they're not freezing Battery Park City then?
No, because we are not in the frozen zone for the first time in a million years. They're not actually doing any freezing on the west side that I understand.
Well, ships are gonna be.
But that's as of today, that could change
Not a
tomorrow.
viewing area.
Yeah, the west side, that's right, that's right. The west side is not a viewing area for fireworks.
See a lot.
Betty,
What about the people actually live in those buildings? Do they need something? If their guests need something?
ID, they have to carry their ID. If
With
they're
their
walking,
address on it.
if you walk out of the building,
Yeah.
you have to show proof of residency.
Yeah. Children and those.
Give me my right home.
You have to have ID. It's one day, it's massive security. This is gonna be a show that hasn't been seen in prior years. There's all kinds of new stuff. We asked them to post signs on the bridge when they're gonna close it for both the bicyclists, the pedestrians. I mean, it'll be okay.
He said contact me by Monday.
Yeah, by Monday.
Can you go over again to the lottery, starts when? and
We
what's-
don't know. It'll either be announced tomorrow or Monday.
and What's the website?
I think it comes out from Notify NYC. So you have to be signed up for the Notify NYC. That's as far as I understand.
East, on the east side of Water Street
Yep, east side of Water.
and over.
Yep. Right, so that's Water, that's Pearl, that's South Street.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the other thing I want to mention, a lot of us are on WhatsApp. If you see something, say something, you report everything to either 311 or 911. And by 911, if you see somebody who is having a medical emergency and you're thinking, that's a 311 call, or it doesn't affect me, it's okay. It's not about safety necessarily only for you. It's also if you see somebody who's passed out on the street.
Yeah.
Call 911. That's not a 311, that's a 911. There is someone passed out on the street. Make sure that the 911 calls get in. And especially as we go through the summer, that's part of the conversation. Don't call the local shelter, don't call 911 and call 311. Okay? And please, don't think to yourself, oh, I'm gonna post that on the WhatsApp group, or I'm gonna post it on social media. That's not gonna help the person or the city get that person some help. And that's how the agencies know what's going on, and that's how we affect budgets in the city. And with that, that's Tricia Shimamura, who was at the City Hall, and it was a lovely week. First precinct is tonight. I'm sorry if you've missed it. Keep it going. Motion to limit debate. This is an important thing for new board members to understand. We use this as a way when some things are taking a very long time to discuss. Anybody can propose it. It's a move to limit debate for a total of blank minutes. You have to be reasonable. It's not debatable, right? It requires a 2/3 vote. So you can't vote on, it. You can't debate like, well, maybe we shouldn't do that, maybe we should. I can come back and say, okay, well, motion to limit debate, yeah, 3 minutes sounds ridiculous. How about we do 5? And then if I look around the room and everybody's going, then we move forward with a 5-minute timer. That's kind of the design. It's not gotten contentious since we started doing this about 8-9 months ago. So let's hope we roll. Next. Okay. Let me explain how, I'm gonna hand this off to Susan for the election. For new board members, this is when we start doing voting after the election. The first resolution, you will hear me say, it's a vote by affirmation. And an affirmation vote means we assume we're gonna say yes to this. And then you call only abstentions, opposals, abstentions, and recusals. You must recuse if you have a financial interest or you're connected in any way, okay? For example, Bob can't vote on anything for Manhattan Youth directly. Neither Alice nor Richard vote on anything because they serve on the board at Governor's Island. Right, so that's why they recuse. But you can abstain if you're not sure what you want to do, right? That's the way you say, that's okay, I'm here, but I'm not participating, all right? Every vote we do after attendance is done that way unless it's controversial and we feel we're gonna need to take a roll call. We try not to do a hand count because it's never as crisp and clean, and you have to have votes on record for open meeting laws, right? The last vote is always roll call, and that is the way that the meeting ends. We call a motion to adjourn after that. Does anybody have questions on the voting in terms of how we do resolutions?
Just a clarification for the new members. An abstention is practically the same thing as a negative.
Correct.
Because you can only count the positive votes in favor of a resolution, and you need a majority of a quorum of positive votes.
Exactly.
So many of us would abstain when we are conflicted, but we have to understand that it's effectively a negative vote.
That's right. Thank you, Jeff. And then the only other thing is quorum. I'll get to you, Mark, in 1 second. Quorum is determined by open meeting laws, which have been extended for 2 years to be able to continue in hybrid. So we'll be like this for 2 years. It is only the members in the room physically and those who are online with qualified disability. That is what we determine quorum. That's the only thing we can use. If you are excused to participate online and you do not have qualified disability, we still have to get to quorum before you can participate. Which means that's what you have to do before the meeting starts. Any questions on that? I know we reviewed some of it in orientation, but it's a lot different when you're live in the room. Mark?
Oh, just quick clarification. After the last vote, there's also, old business, new business, if there is.
That's right.
Yeah. Then you can, sure.
Thank you. All right, so with that, Susan Cole, take it away.
I'd like to thank my committee, and I'd like to thank Lucy, because without Lucy, this doesn't happen. So you see all the people who are running for office. We have 2 people running for vice chair. And so candidates, a few have written online their statements. and they can speak if they want. If you speak, we get questions and answers afterward, and only Richard and Jeff can get questions. That's it. The others are uncontested. And what I'd like to do is ask if, for the ones who are uncontested, that the secretary cast a vote in favor.
Brendan, you want to say that? That's you.
And then I'm thinking that I might have a question.
It's only questions for Richard or Jeff. You can't ask anybody
Did
else.
he ever make me secretary?
So the way it works is when the secretary is not available, the assistant secretary, according to our bylaws, assumes all roles and responsibilities and acts as secretary. So yeah, you're it.
You're it.
I will. Is that
You
what it's-
cast,
Yes, I will.
That's it.
I will cast the vote. I'm casting the vote for the unopposed.
okay,
You need to make a motion and be second, just to be official.
No.
thank you. I don't think so, Mark. I don't think it, if I read it correctly.
She made the motion and it's not a secondable thing. It's just a motion. Positive.
Pretty positive, because I read, because Lucy makes me do these things.
Even
Yes.
if he's, even if he's nominated.
Congratulations.
He's not.
So, Richard and, Jeff can speak or not, it's up to them. They did write statements, and I hope you all read them. And we can, you want to speak?
May I? Ma'am?
No, please. You have 3 minutes.
That includes your Q and A. I will be timing you. If you continue with your 3 minutes, there will be no Q and A, so be very cautious on your speech. Thank you.
Lucy, you've just terrified me.
I'm only here for a few more years.
May I?
Sure.
Corman before guys.
Ready?
So for those new members that don't know me, I'm Richard Foreman and I'm running for vice chair. And if you haven't seen my statement, I've left some on the back table. I won't go through that statement in any detail for the, at the risk of people throwing things at me, and I want to keep it short. So, but I do want to say a few words about why I'm running for vice chair. All the work I've been doing in local organizations and that I've been involved with, as well as my local political activism, has been motivated primarily by 2 beliefs. First, if I can make a difference in the world right around me, then that difference is worth making. And second, our local community civic participation is the real bedrock of our democracy. The community board is a fundamental institution for that local participation. We are each here with our backgrounds, community and personal experiences, skills and interests to be good representatives of the interests of the community, to be the voice of it, and also to provide a place where the community can be heard. And then to be sure to be a force that makes those interests and concerns priorities for our elected officials. But to do those things well, we need to, at its core, foster an environment where we each here feel respected and heard, and that the time we're spending is making a meaningful difference for our community. We heard a fair amount about that the other day at our training session. Because I believe what we do here is so important, I want to do what I can to help us be the best board, the best representatives that we can be. And as vice chair, I pledge to work to foster that environment so that we can all feel proud to be on the board, making the lives of our neighbors, our community a bit better each day.
Okay, if there's any questions, there's 50 seconds left.
All right, fast questions only.
Oh, that's a good.
So why don't we go on.
No, hi. So I was just wondering, have you chaired any committees here? And how long have you been on the board?
All that is in the statement. I've been on the board, including public membership, about 9 years,
Well, no, just as a full member.
since 2020.
Okay.
And I have not chaired any committees, no.
Thank you.
15.
Questions? Any other? There, oh, sorry to have you back to you back there.
All right, Liz. Okay, thank you, Richard. Jeff?
All right, I will be brief. I'm running for chair because I think that my leadership experience, my background, and my dedication to Lower Manhattan will allow me to positively contribute to the board. I've served on the board on and off since 2002. My most recent tenure began in 2020. Over that time, I chaired the World Trade Center Committee, Redevelopment Committee, after 9/11. That committee ultimately morphed into the Land Use Committee today. I currently chair the Battery Park City Committee. In the past, I also chaired the Ball Fields Task Force. And some of you may not know this or remember it, but in the olden days where the ball fields are in Battery Park City, used to be building lots, and they were just temporary use as ball fields. And I helped the community board lead the effort to make them permanent ball fields. I try to, from our training the other day, I try to bring sort of above the line attitude towards my service here. But I have I think a healthy aspect of below the line behavior as well. And what I mean by that is that I presumptively believe everybody's acting in good faith and that they know what they're talking about. But I also know that often people are mistaken, and you need to balance the presumption of good faith with the evidence in front of you to help lead discussion and make important decisions. So I'll just close by saying I'd be honored to have your vote as vice chair.
Thank you.
One minute.
So,
1 minute if any.
anybody have a question? Cindy?
Yeah, how are chair people appointed, elected? How does that work?
They are appointed by the chair of the
Clear as
board.
vice chair.
Anyone else?
In order to, not
That's
including
not
on it,
related.
That's it. You
I'll
can
answer
have it
after the
later.
vote.
All right, so,
You have to volunteer and be willing.
if there are no more questions, what we're gonna do, Lucy is going to explain how we're gonna vote on our phones. And I want to say two things first. Your vote is private, okay? Only Lucy and Onej will see how people,
And Zach.
and Zach, sorry, Zach. Will see how people vote. And if you do want to see, right, how people voted, you can go to the office tomorrow.
Monday, I will not be here.
Monday, and you talk to the boss, Lucy.
What do you mean see how people vote?
It
voted
It's a matter of public record.
private at the moment.
It's private, but it will be public?
It will be public if someone chooses to come talk to me at the office. 90% of the time,
It's what
nobody
is, it's, don't look at me. I like my vote private, but this is the way it is.
That's odd. Who made that law?
I think it's part of, what?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's,
First of all, Jason, thank you. Your assistant secretary. Congratulations. You weren't here for a minute.
It's an honor.
You don't get 3 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank Onej, thank you so much for doing this whole QR code and et cetera, et cetera. So let me explain, excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me explain what we're gonna do and I'll be as brief as possible. You have 30 minutes, which should not take this entire, committee, board members, 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes to log into the QR code, select the person. There are two people, one or the other. If you select an individual in error and say, oh, I wanted to pick banana instead of apple, sorry, that's where it stays. We can't change the vote. If you select both, then maybe if I have time, there's a courtesy that I can go back and say you selected both. You have, it's voided, you can go back to the other. It has your name, your email, submit, 3 lines. That's all we need. Those who do not have a smartphone, there is a tablet right here in front that you can submit. Those online, Onej will send you the QR code.
And we will be looking at those who did not vote, because it gives us a calculation. I'll tap your shoulder and say you have so time to get this vote. So we're gonna pass these around, and thank you very much.
Please
Thank
vote
you.
once, please vote once.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I would like to pass.
sleeping on these
Well, share. Mark, please, that's set up just for you.
Oh,
It is, it is 7:57
Here, yeah, I got the sign on.
Board members, it is 7:57. Lucy has started the timer.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll give 5 minutes in the room before we start committee reports.
Dun, dun, dun.
You got it.
Share, we didn't put that many, we have budget.
Why I know. She's as bitchy as I am.
Does anyone need a QR code?
That's why we love her.
We did it. Tammy, you wanna continue again?
I'm giving it 5 minutes in the room. There are 3 minutes left.
Yeah, well, takes me that much.
Good luck.
I think it's absolutely on that second surgery, but I'm in some kind of anger. But you are.
Yes.
If you're online, board member, please vote. Please check your emails.
I did it already.
I was sent it,
I voted.
Okay, so online, there's no email yet.
It went
so
to
you
the
know.
chat.
It went to the chat for only the panelists. Look in
Okay,
the
I'm here,
chat.
so go to that, and go to the chat. I see, all I see in the chat is sign up for attendance.
All right, I'll get you in a second.
Sorry, I don't see it in the chat.
She said she didn't see it in the chat.
I don't see it in the chat. Do you, is it there? Public chat with everyone is now off, it says.
Yes.
Okay, I missed it, yeah.
It's, you know what? She's looking at everyone. Tell her, just if you are online, need a little bit of quiet in the room. If you're joining us online and you are a panelist, you must look on the chat, not where it says everyone, where it says
That's Dr.
Jason. You must look where it says direct. There are
Got
two
it, I
chats,
see it.
one that is general, one that is direct. And then click on all panelists and the panelists will have the link.
They're just phone.
Then-
Please confirm that you see that.
I see.
I clicked on direct. What's next?
Click on the link that's in there, Joe.
Right here, so we just. go to this. And you go into the same category.
Check, make sure
Horse
everybody's
carriage,
on.
like, if you're like, don't like carriages, you probably don't like horse racing either. If I was to, I know, that's why
Okay.
So why do that too?
I just was at the whole racetrack last week. I just.
Which
I
one?
came from
Bob,
And they still have them?
Bob.
Thank you,
that's
I
living
did it.
online.
What?
Oh, we're still on.
Don't say anything that I don't care. You know, about. So I went after the race car, it's closed again. So I brought my kid to the track. Now, this is a little aside, I paid $105. Played the bathroom.
And that.
We always like. We need to make the people, go to race track.
Okay, everybody back to the table. Everybody back to the table. Let's get moving.
Okay, y'all, we're coming back.
Thank you, Brandon.
Hey, y'all, let's get back to the table so we can get the meeting. Everybody's ready.
I know.
Yo, I'm trying to get out.
You know I hate using this damn thing. Please take your seats. We need to resume. We're gonna get slides going, get committee reports. We want to be mindful, so
And thank you.
slides up. For all new board members. For new board members and existing board members, like Bob.
What happened?
Happy birthday, Bob. All right.
I just want to say, my birthday is May 19th.
Yeah, but we
Happy belated.
Told our birthday not be.
All right, stop. Nope, 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 nope. All right, you start. Christine, not helping. All right. Everybody needs to understand, especially for the poor new board members who don't know. The owls record everything. If you are sitting over here on the second row and you think, I can whisper because no one's gonna hear me, or I'm talking to Lucy, it's okay, or I'm getting a slice of pizza and no one will hear what I say, that would be factually incorrect. And whatever you say lives on YouTube forever. And I do mean forever, because it was confirmed this morning at the Borough Board, we can never take down our YouTube recordings. They are part of a permanent record that has to stay live or searchable forever. If you need to have a private conversation, please step out the door and to the lobby. Do not stand in the doorway, do not stand back here. Do not be talking to people on your telephone. It will live forever. It's up to you. If you don't care, that's great, but not fabulous. Go ahead.
I propose that we create a resolution to stop that because I don't think that's appropriate.
It is part of sunshine laws that the recordings must stay forever permanent. It's the same thing with any recorded hybrid meetings for any legislative or agency.
I'll just add,
Correct.
if there's, I'll just add, if there's more than one person talking, it actually goes mute online. And so then nobody online can actually hear what's going on. On top of that, then we're also not catching, because I use the recordings to do the minutes. So then like we're not catching those things. So that's why we encourage you to stay silent or say conversations after call.
Exactly. Thank you. So that brings us to our first resolution. For the board members who were not here when we did roll call, which include Jason, Vincent, who else? The first vote, you will have to do an auditory call, right?
Vincent, I got.
Have you got Vincent? Okay. So the first one is the Cannabis Showcase Event Permit application for 74 Broad Street. We printed out some extra supplements because we did some research after the applicant had come to executive and got some rulings. One of them, you will see the OCM proximity report. And the second one that you will see is the Cannabis Showcase event with all the details on it. This is an important new thing for people to know, so we're distributing it. It also means that we are actually slightly tweaking the resolution because we found out information we actually didn't even know. So, in the resolution that you see before you, the proximity to the educational facilities will be updated as seen in the OCM proximity report. The proposed location is directly across the street from the New York City Public High School, Millennium, 75 Broad, which is 110 feet away. Additionally, it's 373 feet away from the Richard R. Green School of Teaching at 7 Beaver. These all come up on the proximity report that's run through OCM. So, and it's within 500 feet, because that is the rule. The gentleman said, oh, I think it's 250 for this. But we went back and checked online. It's actually 500 feet, and it's for the two schools, which thereby prohibit cannabis sales. Okay, fast forward in the rest of the application, there are a couple other things. The applicant did not give 45 days notice as required per OCN and seen in the attached showcase event. The applicant also said to the board that they plan to sell apparel along with cannabis at the location, which is also prohibited according to the attached showcase event information sheet. So we are denying this application. We added the additional reasons, and we will be sending all of this over to OCM. The other part that is strange, that I don't know if the gentleman knows, but he was proposing to do this event at a salon that actually says it serves beverages, which is also illegal for them to be at, because you can't have both in the same place. And lastly, I think that was the last thing. Yeah, you can't do delivery and sales in a salon. Okay,
And there was no age for the hair salon either.
right, the hair salon is open for all ages, and you're not allowed to have anybody under 21 in the showcase event. Okay, so those are all the changes. Mark?
Just a quick fix, on the last bullet point, where it starts lack of community outreach. The applicant did not, outreach to local businesses or buildings, can we say for residential buildings?
Nope, because it's all buildings. He didn't reach out to the schools, he didn't reach out to anything, so it's just all buildings, any buildings.
Inclusive of.
We can say inclusive of, if that makes you feel better.
Or, okay, there's something that's,
Yep.
counts residents.
Yep.
Can I call the question?
Absolutely.
Second.
Fantastic. This is a vote by affirmation, which means you are saying yes to denying this application. Assuming that we are doing by affirmation, are there any opposed to this denial? Hearing and seeing none. Are there any abstentions? Hearing and seeing none. Are there any recusals? Hearing and seeing none. For the two folks who were not here for roll call, please announce your vote, whether you're affirmed, you're in favor, opposed, abstained, or recused, and that is
Region, yes.
Yep. I think upset, yeah.
just Jason. Okay, fantastic. So Jason, you're officially on the record. Thank you very much. We move to the next one, which is City Council Intro 501, a local law to amend New York City Council Charter in relation to terms of employment for district managers. This came up at Borough Board this morning, and Borough Board also voted to support the denial of this legislation. Are there any questions?
Should our district manager be in the room while we talk about?
It is
All right.
perfectly fine.
So.
So I actually like, so, was that, did I hear you say call the
Yes,
question?
she did, just call it.
And did you second it?
Sure.
Fantastic. So this is a vote by affirmation as well. Are there any opposed to the denial? Are there any abstentions or recusals?
Motion abstains.
Fantastic. Motion passes.
Okay.
Local law to amend the New York City Charter in relation to giving council members power to make appointments to community boards. We voted against this one as well, because we did not set up, the council member, unless for clarity, does appoint and suggest 25 members every session. And the borough president does 25. Not in the island of Manhattan, but in another borough, there is an argument between the borough president and a sitting city council person.
Yeah.
And they do not agree, and they have issues. So instead of trying to fix their issues, this is where this came from.
Okay.
But this law sets up we discussed it as well at Borough Board this morning, a completely separate system for appointments, interviews, orientation, everything out of the community board realm that is the responsibility of the borough president. All right, so that is Richard.
It is not quite right to say that the city council member appoints 25 members. City council member recommends 45 members. And it is up to the borough president to appoint them or not. And it is also not quite right that it doesn't happen here in Manhattan. In fact, it does happen in Manhattan where the borough president does not accept or agree with a city council member and has appointed other people that the city council member has disagreed with at times. So I think the intent of ensuring that the city council member who actually represents the district rather than the whole borough is assured a say is a good intent. Now, whether this bill in fact accomplishes that, I really can't say because I also recognize setting up separate processes is problematic. But I think it's important to recognize that it is a really important objective to have the city council member have a definitive role in the appointment of community board members.
I don't think any of us disagree with that. I mean, many of us have been appointed by our city council person. But, Jack.
Appointed actually by the borough president on recommendation.
Yes,
Sort of to Richard's point, and I think I would change the third whereas. In fact, the charter says, because I went back to take a look at what the charter actually sounds, is that at least half of the members appointed by borough president shall be appointed from nominees of the council members elected from the district. In other words, they have to, there is no choice on the part of the borough president, but to appoint from the nominees in existing law.
Right.
From the nominees. Now, it's written in a way that I suppose the borough president could say, well, I don't like your nominees, give me some more. But he can't turn around and appoint somebody that's not a nominee without violating the charter. So I don't know what's happening in these other districts. But the charter is pretty.
Did you want to change
I
the
know
third
that it was
whereas?
happening here.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
district.
So I would change that third whereas.
Okay.
So after the word already, at the beginning, I would put effectively. So it would read, the current framework already effectively provides city council members with half of the board appointments to a community board. And then I delete the rest there and insert in that the New York City Charter requires that the borough president, the borough president's appointments requires that of the borough president's appointments, at least half, and then just quote the charter, quote, at least one half of whom shall be appointed from the nominees of the council members elected from the council districts, which includes any part of the community district. The charter then goes on to deal with what happens if there's more than one council member. And it specifies how you deal with that in the charter. It doesn't need clarification. I don't know what's going on in these other districts, but.
It's not been pretty.
Yeah.
We had I'll just.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's okay.
But my point is, you don't need to change the law. The law is what it is and already gives the city council members the right to do this. If for some reason that right isn't working out, that's a different problem that needs to be solved, or at least needs to be solved in a different way. I would suggest a different way to solve it than what they're
Perfect.
proposing.
Can you take your language, which is better than my language, and send that to Zach so we can prove it? Does everybody agree with that? I think that's a really good clarification and it addresses a lot of Richard's concerns as well. Because I know it happened in one of the uptown boards in last year's appointment cycle. But I'll leave that where it is.
So then we still vote with the.
We are still voting to deny this
So can I
legislation.
call the question?
You can.
I'll
indeed.
second it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This will be a vote by affirmation.
We should always sit together.
Yeah. All right, so with that language, is there assumed by affirmation, are there any opposed?
No, thanks.
Seeing and hearing none in the room or online, are there any abstentions?
Thompson abstains.
You're on a roll today. Okay,
Blank abstains.
okay, that's 2 abstentions. Any other abstentions? Hearing and seeing none, are there any recusals?
Also, sorry, if you're online, you have to have your cameras on.
Got.
One other person.
Santi, can you put your, Santiago, can you put your camera on, please? And Paul. Okay, fantastic. Alrighty, so that is all three of mine, from exec. Can I have the next slide, please? I encourage everybody who was not an executive to please watch the recording from George James' report. We commissioned this report, we've been talking about it, working on it for about 8 months. Between 2010 and 2020, we, Community Board 1, is the fastest growing residential district relative to all community districts throughout the city. Next. While the percentage change in total housing has been high, the majority of the units are market rate. Next slide. The total housing increase is 47.4% since 2008. New units, again, are primarily market. And over the same time, the cumulative rent stabilized and income restricted affordable housing units we have decreased, remain fairly stagnant, but it's a 21% decrease. And that does not include the loss of QRS, like at Gateway, it does not include the Mitchell Llama selling of IPN and Southbridge Towers. We have actually lost more stabilized, income restricted, and affordable housing units than any other place in the state. And we've done the analysis of this to understand why, as a policy, we said no to the city of Yes, because it provided no assurances that we would get affordable housing. And that is one of the other arguments and things that we've had. Netta?
Rent stabilized, right?
Or rent regulated, yeah.
Is it the same as what City of Yes brought? Because rent stabilized, it's a policy issue versus what City of Yes introduced, which is new units that are being built or converted.
The city doesn't track loss of any kind. So for example, in George's report, he used 70 Battery Place as an example. That was a building that was built with 209 rent regulated units when it was built, and it is down to now 38 units because it was a 421A building and that's it. So all of the regulated units are gone. The only ones that are left were part of the 80-20. That was the agreement with the thing. And every time one of the people in the 20% leaves, they take that and make it market.
So my question is that if our community wants rent stabilized units, we have to go to the politicians, come up with a policy that rent doesn't go up, right? But if you wanna have low income housing, which is, the housing that's new and it's being built, that's where we go and ask the developers to give us 20%, 30%, whatever percent of as low.
We want both. We want all of it, because what we have discovered is socioeconomic diversity is what provided the resiliency for Community Board 1 to rebound after 9/11. There were people of all ages, all ages, walks of life. You could work in Lower Manhattan and live in Lower Manhattan. It has come to a point of market and luxury, and we have not seen, even with 47% increase in housing, the costs have skyrocketed. They haven't come down. So we're actually a great example of how the policy currently doesn't work. And we're not the only district. Community Board 8 is exactly the same. We sit in meetings and cry the same language. It's what it is. So I encourage you to take a look, and hopefully we'll be discussing maybe policy adjustments as we look ahead and advocate.
So why didn't George incorporate the Jalama and the other?
Because
those are major losses.
Take a look at the presentation, because in order to scrape the data, he had to go through the tax records, building by building. And we were very fortunate that we, on Goodkind, as a board member for a very long time, who actually did our affordable housing reports. And he had done all those, so it gave George a basis of where to look to start with. and it was criminal in some ways, very profitable in others. Yes.
Yeah, I would urge everybody to look at the presentation, and I guess with the PDF or whatever it's going to be in our files. This was a very interesting survey that he did, and it confirmed a lot of what we in our gut knew was true, but it puts real data behind it. And I think it would be good raw material for quality of life to be dealing with.
Yeah, I did speak to HPD, who asked for the data, so the follow-up after this meeting will be to send that information to HPD. Because we do need to start advocating for policy, and there are other places in Manhattan who are with us, who are experiencing the same thing. And whether it's about rezoning, it's about new policy, I think it's actually probably yes for everything. But we definitely want to try and make sure that we are a place that is socioeconomically diverse to support the businesses that's still here that, I mean, you want to live, work, that's like the new ideal.
Yeah, it shows more than we've lost these units. It shows us as dead last among all the districts in terms of how we're doing on affordable housing.
Exactly. Alrighty, and with that, I'm handing it off to Alice, who had a hell
We
of
have
a
5
meeting.
minutes left if you have not voted.
How many
5
minutes?
left. 5.
Can you just, who's running the slides? And can I look at your screen to see the slides? So they come up here, so otherwise I'm turning away. Okay, so happily, this was a 4-hour meeting that I will now be condensing in my usual 7 minutes, I hope. Where we start, can I get the slide?
Yes, sorry, Lucy's driving her nuts about the, we need to do the slides.
Just let me know when
You'll wait, it's okay, it's okay.
Zach, you have to wait. Don't scream at me. He told me to come.
Zach, you gotta wait, you gotta wait till after environmental, cause
Go one more.
No problem.
slides.
Okay. It's not gonna be.
Patience.
Oh, all right, good, 'cause it's on his. Okay, so next slide. We've got 3 items that we're gonna cover. The first one seems to be the FIDI report. So this is the one that we have a resolution to, vote on. And, let's just make sure I'm in the right place. So this was a plan for those of you who are following this, the FIDI Seaport Coastal Resiliency Plans, of course. And this is the plan covering the 1 mile more or less between Brooklyn Bridge and Battery. And it has been renamed, rechristened the Fortifying Our Resilient Growth and Economy by the EDC and the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice. The plan is costing somewhere estimated today at $8 to $10 billion. So we need a new plan how to pay for it. We don't have a lot of, obviously, federal support. So the city is attempting to tap into federal funding through a section of the Water Resources Development Act, which is to partner with the United States Army Corps of Engineers for creating this feasibility study and environmental review, which then would allow them to get congressional support 2 years hence. And so, just to remind you, you're looking at sort of the evolution of this. So you may recall this began in 2021, these plans. We looked at them in 2025. We all voted as a board on a very long resolution identifying all of the things we thought should and shouldn't be in this new FIDI Seaport plan. And now we're talking about the environmental impact statement. What should be included in the scope of looking at the environmental concerns? So next slide. That's the purpose statement. This is the purpose statement according to EDC to manage the current and future flood risk. And you can read, while preserving and enhancing critical maritime roadway and public transportation services. And this is all in the resolution. You're seeing in the diagram on the right what the area is that we're talking about. Next slide. Yeah, I'm going to put some quickly because there's a lot. So this is the analysis. This is 100 pages. This is the analysis looking at the natural environment, the physical environment, the built environment, the human environment. And we have tried, Martine and I, and the committee, to really identify everything that we thought was not covered adequately in the scoping document that we read through and didn't really address this community board's resolution on what we wanted to see at the FIDI Seaport plan. And that's kind of what you're looking at. Next slide, I think, yeah. And, yeah, and so this is a sense of timing. So by 2028, we will have the final draft. So right now, don't get too concerned. There'll be more time for public comment. Unfortunately, tonight was one of the second public hearing on this. But it's okay because we had our own review of the Environmental Protection Committee. Everything's on YouTube, as Tammy's described. You can see it. So next slide. Right, this is the project schedule. Okay, we are looking at 2032 for the completion of this project. So it's a long time coming, but
No, that's the wrong slide.
wrong slide. I'm saying, what is that doing there? Yeah, that's the borough-based jail. Okay, wrong slide. Jeff, I'm thinking, what?
They're all related.
Okay, well, we're on to the broadcast. No, we're not on to the borough-based jail quite yet. I don't know what happened to the slides. I apologize. I thought I put the numbers in correctly. I'm pretty sure I did, but alas. So the resolution, any questions? You probably are all familiar, the new members, to expedite things, reading the therefore be it resolved clauses that you're voting on are really the issue at hand. Hopefully we've covered everything we should have. It's an 11-page resolution. Great cure for insomnia. Does anyone have any questions on that? Yes,
Hey,
Jeff.
just kind of a clarification. By and large, this resolution covers the same territory that we've previously covered in resolutions that we voted in favor of, but now as applied to this new incarnation of the project. So, I mean, by what I mean, that's kind of big shorthand, but conceptually, we're not proposing anything new that we haven't already presented to you guys, and you guys have already
We
voted
agreed
on
upon,
and-
yes.
And agreed upon.
Yeah, it's looking at the environmental aspects
Yes.
primarily, specifically. So, anybody else? Questions, clarifications? Okay.
One question.
Second.
All right,
Love it.
go.
Vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed? Bob? Last name and vote, please.
Townley, no.
Orders of the
Any other in opposition? Are there any abstentions? Seeing and hearing none in the room nor online, are there any recusals? Seeing and hearing none, and in the room online, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. So the second item is just a report very briefly, and I want to thank Vera Sung on our committee for having gotten this group. The NYU Environmental Health Impact Assessment Report was provided by a group of NYU professors. It's brilliant. I definitely encourage you to read it. It's a very sobering document that identifies some of the real impacts that we face in the Manhattan Detention Center area in Chinatown, but moreover, generally, it covers a lot of what we are all going to suffer in every one of these projects, these large scale development projects. So they gave key findings. I'll just tell you what they were. Persistent localized air pollution near the MDC site. That's the Manhattan Detention Center site in Chinatown. Incomplete and inconsistent construction site monitoring and limited transparency and accessibility with monitoring information. In the interest of time, I'm not going to get into more detail, but that is a report that's online with all our documents, which is very easy to read through. Yes.
The borough board requested that you send it to the borough president's office. It was mentioned this morning as part of reports from CD1.
But we all have it. I mean,
Yeah,
you
we'll
have
set-
it.
we'll
Yeah,
send
we'll-
it.
yeah, terrific. So then they had, also, I really appreciated that this group of medical wizards took their time to also recommend mitigation strategies, not just to complain or to identify what was wrong, but to figure out other ways to do this. So there were 5, data transparency and accountability, continuous monitoring across all of the construction phases of the project, limited construction hours to minimize noise and pollution, air pollution, independent oversight and community-centered governance, and health impact monitoring, impact assessment. This was then followed with the borough-based jail review, and I really thank the borough-based jail team because they were willing to come after a pretty critical report on what seemed to be missing from what they were doing on the site. And I thought they listened well. I hope Vera agrees. And we have to just dial it back a few slides. I'm just going to show the correct project schedule for this project, which is 6 years of that. You want to go back another slide or two? It was the project schedule slide. Sorry. One more, couple more. Oh, no.
The other way.
Yeah, the other way. Okay, so, there we go. So just to identify that the project schedule is 6 years of construction and that'll end in 2032 if all goes well. And so that's a long time. And I think people need to see kind of, if you're interested, when very impactful excavation work is being done all through these years. So these concerns are going to be going on for a long time. Okay, next slide. Here's just a picture that's useful to see of the current site conditions. You see the size of the drill rigs, you see the walls that are shoring up the site. The sense of the expanse of this, you're looking at the chunk pack buildings to the north. Next slide, excuse me. So that is the excavation and caisson operations. This is really showing you where the pink, it's the secant walls. These are the walls that basically are the supports for the excavation of this site. They're digging down, we're building a parking lot underneath this building. And so this is the beginning of the plan of what this would look like. Next slide. I mean, there's many slides and lots of description. A lot of people had a lot of concern about the dewatering. The dewatering is the method that we use for deconstruction in these areas, particularly in an area that was once collect pond, which is how do we keep the water out? And this is a system which is these secant walls that are being built and is, sort of convincingly what one's supposed to do in a site like this. So anyway, they went into a lot of explanation on this and answered a lot of questions. Next slide. Another part of their update was a new courthouse egress. So the new courthouse, existing courthouse that we'd love to see landmark, has a new egress. So that was something that's going in front of landmarks. And then we looked at all of the different monitoring of, air and dust and noise. Next slide. Right, so these are the site monitoring locations. I assume you can see it, where it shows you all the vibration points, where the dust monitors are and the like. And, this allows people to begin to keep track of what and where things are being tracked. And then I think that was it. So, no, another slide. Okay, so this is the dust mitigation, some of the equipment using water to spray over the site whenever there's problems with dust. There's a lot of concern that this isn't adequate. So one of the things that's being promised and that I thought was very useful about this meeting was that the borough-based jail team is listening to this report that was done about the health impacts and is really trying to work with the community much more aggressively on ways to mitigate the situation at this site. And one more, I guess, just showing you noise, right? And these are blankets that they're putting up around the walls. As the Chinatown community has made very clear, a lot of this is not adequate. A lot of it really isn't solving the problem. So our mission now is to try to work with the borough-based jail team to make things as good as they can be in the next 6 years of this construction project. So I think that's it. And I just want to say that I want to thank again the Sun family for having foiled for certain documents and monitoring reports that we've just gotten after 6 months today, which are now in the public domain and which we have as the board and will distribute to anyone interested. That's it for me. And I'm happy to report this will be my second to last Environmental Protection Committee report. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
So may I announce the vice president?
The vice president?
The vice chair.
Vice president. I'd like to get rid of the vice president, but I'm going to talk about the vice chair.
Yeah, sure.
Jeff, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Jeff and Richard, both of you, thank you very much.
Thank you, yes.
For the willingness to serve the board. Congratulations to both of you. I am honored to serve with both of you. And Jeff, I'm really sorry. I've been in those shoes. And I'm sorry, Alice, but good luck. It is a joy to serve on the board. I will say this is the best, craziest ride ever. So buckle up because it'll just be busier. Because that's the minute you think you got a lull, surprise, the city has special things for you. So congratulations to everybody. Don't worry, There are plans for you. You cannot be bored. We.
Plans.
Luce, my boss, said I have to give you the numbers of how the vote came. So I'm going to say, Jeff received, yes. So Jeff received 25 votes, Richard received 14 votes, and there was one abstention. The end.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
How many votes did I get?
That.
On your birthday next May 19th. All right, Dr. K.
Yes, I want to present about the transportation committee. Only the first two are real, the other two, I don't know where they got put on here because they're not real.
So fun.
Two things. And they're both resolutions. So,
Maybe these were things that we wished we had put on the agenda that,
well, no, 1 and 4 are the same.
oh, fantastic. Okay, great.
So I won't repeat myself.
I can go in and take it off if you'd like.
No, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Number 3 was a no-show, so it's canceled.
Right.
But anyway, first one you changed. Slides. With my turn. The complaint that came, this was very resident-based to start with, and this is again, we're on Leonard Street. So there's too many. It is just one block. It is between West Broadway and Hudson Street. They came forward and their complaint was not enough width in the travel lane, and there's only one lane. It's a cobblestone street with parking on both sides and just one lane in the middle for that. You can see it here. The real complaint, as you can see, is who would guess that semis would take this road? And
GPS.
is there any, well, that's exactly why. It is, I know it is. You went to the meeting, they talked all about it, and it's in the resolution. But anyway, there's a lot of documentation put in, and the problem is, you can see it. This is a dump truck, so it's not just the semis going by, but there's also a problem that, look at some of the very large vehicles that happen to be parked on the street as well, which creates problems even when the vehicles going through aren't huge like the semis. Go to the next, they did a lot. They have all kinds of large vehicles. When you have these large parks vehicles on the side, like the big vans and things you're seeing, it creates a real problem. And they've had all kinds of side swiping. They have lots of yelling and screaming, horn honking. And they found that when the snow was pushed to the side, actually it worked very well for them because they didn't have parking on both sides. Anyway, next. So they came forward with a request, and I wanted to let people know, 1 block south of Leonard Street is actually Worth Street, which is a truck route. That's where these trucks are supposed to be going unless they're a local delivery. But I want you to know it's a citywide issue. This happens to be an area in Brooklyn. And there's also, because it's a rule change going through, some people are very alarmed with their increasing the distance of the bus, of the truck routes in New York City. Go back, please. You look at the blue line, in fact, that's what the community is asking for. The red line is what's really in existence. For some, because of the problem, and you can see their problem with the huge trucks. Make the corners. That's why this community is actually asking for longer distance. So they are less of these problems on the streets. But also within the rule change, the DOT acknowledges the signage is a problem that needs to change, which is reflected in our resolution. You go to the next. They also asked for signage to tell people it's local deliveries only. This sign, they said, lasted about a day. It was knocked over by a truck. When they asked the DOT a few months later, they didn't realize the sign had been knocked down. So the signs really aren't a very good answer to the solution. And that's not what the DOT is recommending anyway. And so we've been told this group, these residents, this was at least a 4-month process, probably a 5-month process. It started in January. So they're very serious about it. We've been through lots of things. Next. This isn't taken lightly. So, formatting is horrible, but anyway. Therefore, be it almost. And there are 3 elements to it.
They match the resolution if you've read them.
Yeah, they do. They should let me
I
forward.
did read them.
Billy Burke's left that.
Can I? Oh, I can't on the chair.
Call the question.
Second.
There's a hand.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. You were back there.
there's something that's omitted, even though I'm for the resolution, but it's not presented exactly the way we agreed upon in the committee.
What was it?
So it's kind of inferred, and like I said, and with that, what we agreed upon is why I voted for it. In one, two, three, four, and like the fourth whereas, it says DOT engineers should assess both alternatives before the parking regulations are changed.
And that was.
What we agreed, what.
Okay, let him finish.
We agreed that if parking regulations should remain equal if the site is changed. That's why I think everybody was in favor of it, myself, even the person from the block, that, I mean,
Hold on, Mitch.
alternatives,
Which,
it's not the same as we.
page 1 of 3 of the fourth?
Page
No.
2 of 3.
2 of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a disagreement about.
We just will kind of go like trying to go even, Stephen, we agree that one side would be more safer not to have parking. But if more parking is taken away from one side, then it should be equally put on the other side as opposed to just being eliminated. But then it was just for like nights and weekends and.
So, okay, stop.
people that were in the-
So would you say, and Betty, does this currently reflect, this stays exactly as it is, and it says there's a disagreement about regulation change as requested and tentatively proposed versus the south curb would be more effective. DOT engineers should assess both alternatives before parking regulations are changed on one side and retain capacity.
Look, let me say that the DOT has already said they want it on the north side, that's what they recommended. The building, the people on the block had said there would be loss of fewer parking spaces if it was on the north side. It's moved to the south side, which the residents don't want, the DOT did not suggest, then there would be more loss of parking spaces.
And I agreed for this.
So do we, all right, stop. You don't need to repeat. You don't need to repeat. So then we're just,
get to Rose's point.
No,
we
Mitch,
have to rehash it
Mitch.
later.
we're not rehashing.
Right.
So from what I'm understanding from Betty, right?
Say that the agreement was that it would appear in whereas, not in and therefore be it resolved. And then it got twisted around.
I hope somebody else from the committee will have the nerves to say. what-
Okay, stop. Please, please.
It is.
No bickering. Bob, stop. Thank you.
Explaining some history, I'm sorry.
Take it out of the room if you need to explain history and come back for the vote. So what we're talking about, there was a capacity issue. The residents don't want it on the south, right? Do I understand this correctly? The residents,
On the north.
the residents want it on the north. There is more capacity on north or south side.
North.
On the
That's what
north.
they say, it's north,
They say there's more capacity on the north
for parking.
for parking. So if we add the word to maintain capacity, that solves the problem because that still gets you and preserves what we're needing to do for the businesses and people who need the parking. Is that correct?
As long as it's clear as for the block, because wherever the change is, acknowledge, it is to get rid of parking on one side.
Yes, yes.
It's not make-
Mitch, I'm asking Betty the question. I'm asking the chair. Please beware. Yes.
Yes and no, it's the capacity of parking remains the same or optimized, whatever. Because no matter what, there's going to be loss of some parking because of.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, that was agreed in the meeting, for the DOT to consider the utility of the street and for parking for trucks to load and unload, as well as parking at night for other people. So it was considered, that was agreed. Look, the words, I don't know exactly how it would be, but it was agreed.
Sure, it was decided which side of the street it was.
Okay, so but we're saying to consider the utility of the street and optimize the parking. Right? That sounds like what you've just said, what Mitch has just said.
It's like optimize and maintain as much.
Well,
parking.
Optimize and maintain.
That's the issue. It wasn't optimized. Well, you can look at it that way, but they were fighting for minimize the loss. If there's going to be a loss.
Minimize the loss or optimize the opportunity, sounds like the same thing. If we have to, if you want to use the words that says minimize the loss, does that reflect more clarity from what happened? Mitch,
Well, for what we're asking, it does. True.
Eric,
I agree with Mitch, with what Mitch is saying. I'm having problems trying to get the words out. It's to maximize the utility of the street space. after this is done.
Right.
For the DOT to consider that. Brendan, I mean, I don't.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds,
I just want to say one thing out about this, but to bring up.
no, because this is only about this resolution and we're getting to where we're going. So nope, sorry, hold it. Okay, so we've got the words, right? Everybody's good with this?
Yeah.
It was called, it was seconded with this amendment that says consider the utility of the street and maximizing the streetscape. All right, perfect. It was called, it was seconded. So we're gonna do this by vote by affirmation. Are there anybody opposed? Hearing and seeing none. Any abstentions? Maurice abstains. Thank you. Are there any other abstentions in the room? Thank you. Anybody recused? Fantastic. Motion passes. Thank you, Betty. Next.
Yeah, this is a program, the public e-bike charging. There was a 1 year, at least 1 year, pilot to find out the utility of this. This was in response to go to the next one, the new program by the DOT. And here's an example during the pilot. There are 3 companies that participated in the pilot, which was these slightly different cabinets. But they're all basically around the same size. Person gets a subscription, they then turn in a battery that belongs with the subscription service. They then take out a fully charged one and it takes them about a minute to switch out. But that's what it is, the subscription service to participate in, you don't have to charge in your, wherever you live in. Go to the next. And this is what the really point is. Allows them to switch mid-shift, because many of them said they use more than one battery on a particular shift. The workers also said that they're being banned from their buildings due to charging, and of course, they don't want the fires. Keep in mind, we're going to be talking about the workers, deliveristas, but in fact, this program would not be limited to just those people. It would be anyone in New York City that wants a subscription. I'll make that clear. Next. Yeah, they get the considerations about the placement of them is very similar to all the other DOT programs. You know, certain distances from the corners, and you go to the next one, I think you see a layout picture that's gonna look familiar. Oops, no, first, we'll get to one later. It's not over all 5 boroughs where the darkened areas are where this program will be taking place. We go to the next, you can see what it has to do with where the deliveries are. And you can see most of the really heavy usage demand is going to be in the areas in congestion zone areas. So while they're looking to put in about 25 of these stations, they're putting out about 50 calls to community boards about locations where they might be placed. So they will not all be placed that are being recommended. Next, we just don't know where they're going yet.
But I will say,
this is what the outline looks like. So you saw the open dining and everywhere else. Certain amount of the pedestrian path, a certain distance from different obstructions, things for the placement of these cabinets. There are a lot of rules for them. Yes.
Does this then limit opportunities, because we're hoping to maintain a priority for ClearPath? If this is outside a building, up against the building.
Finish this and I think it'll answer your question.
Oh, good, thank you.
Thoroughly. Go to the next one, because they recommended 2 sites within our district. They're the first of the 2. Both of them are on Water Street, so don't let that confuse you. This first one is between Fletcher Street and John Street. And that arrow kind of is where they're talking about putting the cabinet. Remember, the cabinet is not really any bigger than that space. They acknowledge that the bike rack, at least one of them, would have to be relocated. So they're taking it out, but they're actually going to put it somewhere else, so we're not losing that capacity either. Okay, the second location, you can see you look by the city bike dock, you see those benches. They're talking about relocating one of the benches and placing the cabinet there. So this is between Gouverneur Lane and Northeast and the northeast corner, which brought up a whole discussion. We go to the next one.
Do you know where that bench is going? Okay.
Let me finish the story. We've then went through the things that CB1 consistently asks, for, such as no riding of bicycles on the sidewalk. So no placement that requires the person, the user of the cabinets, to go onto the sidewalk. They must be able to have access from the roadbed. Whether it's placed on the roadbed or placed on the curb facing the roadbed, we leave it kind of open, but that was one of the essential principles we had. Protecting the pedestrian path was another strong one that we had. The third one, but it'll come up, it's in the resolution. Anyways, because I knew what I had this photo, asked the question there and said, see where that vehicle is, they're not supposed to be there. But anyway, if they put this cabinet in that location, on the curb or on the roadbed, it would fit. That'd be more in compliance with what we were talking about when we said this location wouldn't be bad if you consider this. So if you go to the next one. So therefore be it resolved. And you can see the 3 bullet points, which are what I already said. These general locations are acceptable as long as cabinets and batteries can be accessed without the bike operator using the sidewalk. The pedestrian clear paths are protected and the hardened barriers are placed if needed to protect the cabinet users from motor vehicles. Such as if they put it on the curb facing out onto the street, there probably would need to be something to protect the user who'd be standing in the street. Sure. To access the cabinet. Because we don't want to hurt them. Next. Well, but just so you can see the others. Next.
There's one more there for me. There you go.
Oh. Okay, so some things that we asked them to consider. Again, they have not decided how many private businesses they're going to utilize. 3 were in the pilot, but we don't, the DOT didn't know how many were going to be in the permit program.
Okay. There's the end.
Yes. Well, no, it's an and, there's one more.
And then I've got 2 hands up, one on each side of the room. Okay. Patrick and then Vera.
Betty, 2 related sets of questions. First of all,
Oh, Netta, sorry.
one of the photos I saw was behind the city bikes, which,
Right.
I mean, that's challenging. How are drivers gonna get in and out of there? So. I
That's
guess
why
the-
that's why we gave them the option of the one where the truck was parked.
Okay,
It's also the same location and said that would be suitable and go with our requirements of those 3 things.
I guess my real question and the concern is about displacement of city bikes. It seems counterintuitive to do that. Did that come up at all in the meeting, or did they address whether any of these in the future would be displacing any city bike station?
They will not be. In fact, somebody recommended, and I can guess what it was, why don't you get rid of 1 or 2 of the docks and shorten up the station and just put it there? I had thought of that too, because then you could use the same electrical source, which needs to be powered.
Say for the future ones, any loss of city bike station, the ability to get a parking spot for a city bike station down here in Ward Days.
Right, no, they are not considering any movement of lifts.
Okay, and then the second question, I guess it's kind of 2 related things. I know there are, and I don't know whether it's part of the pilot program or not, these stations placed throughout the financial district in private parking lots, for example. There's one on Gold Street. Would this program affect that at all?
If that's the cabinet program that was the pilot, then it would be because the pilot, yeah. Well, those 3 cabinets that you saw there,
It didn't look like, when I see everything, it doesn't look like.
then it's probably a whole different process.
And I think, just, sorry, Eric, one last thing, the concern I guess I would have, and again, more for future applications in these 2 particular sites, is the congestion of users who are, when they're not on the sidewalk, they're very respectful, but they do just line up, for days down the block. And I think that DOT needs to take that into consideration, especially if they follow our recommendation that these be accessed only by the roadway. There's gonna be a bit of congestion from those bikes.
They seemed very positive about that. That was no problem. In fact, she said, if that truck where it was didn't work out, she had a couple other locations in that very close area where would be in the road then.
This relates to.
All right, well, Eric.
It relates to this question.
Netta goes first and then I already called order.
Sorry, mine goes kind of around the congestion of this pedestrian walkways that we have. There was a plan for the city to put these trash containers on some of the streets. I'm just wondering if these chargers and all these additions that different agencies are bringing and putting on our streets are being coordinated together on one plan. So we don't all of a sudden lose the whole sidewalk because someone wanted to put trash containers, someone wanted to put battery chargers, someone else wanted to do something else.
Stay tuned. The mayor started, so it's within the DOT. The mayor started a, Office of Curb Management. And they are there specifically to coordinate all these issues and all the various demands. They are still staffing it, because I've been asking for when they can come and do a presentation to the committee. And they said, not yet. It's not even a set office yet.
But for some of the streets in financial districts, currently, you can't really pass by each other.
Well, that's why it is a problem, and I think that's part of the reason why Mayor Ramzani made it such a big priority to start this office of, curb management.
All right. That is an important follow-up. Thank you very much. Eric, anything before we call?
Yeah, it was about Patrick's question, because at the meeting, it was asked if they could put this location underneath the FDR, and they said they couldn't because of fire. So that's why they're only considering outdoor areas. Remember you were asking something about.
Isn't it underneath the FDR?
Yeah, but they can't do the fires. They don't want it underneath the FDR.
Interesting.
And then it was proposed at the meeting also, if they put that new battery charging area, just remove a few of the biking stations. That's what I meant. I didn't mean to remove it entirely, just a few, like three.
Said a couple of the docks.
I don't consider that flammable. What are they doing next to residential without?
Well, they're not very flammable, but these cabinets are prevention of flammable. And since I sit on one all the time, and I
Okay.
sit next to one.
Okay. Vicky, did you want to call for something? Is that what you're saying?
Call the question.
Yeah, that's it.
Second, please.
She seconded.
She seconded. Fantastic. So this is a vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed?
I oppose.
Yeah, say your
All right,
last
hold
name.
on. It's the way to, that's right. That's awesome. If you hear what I say, when you say you're opposed, you have to do last name and you're up, and then you say opposed. So,
And do it at a reasonable pace, Chairwoman,
yeah.
especially as I'm seeing new names.
Espinoza oppose.
Let's go back and look at it.
Russo opposed.
Canal opposed.
Forsberg oppose.
That's 4. Got it?
I got it.
Okay. Are there any abstentions?
Blank abstains.
Zelter abstained.
Oh, very nice.
Abstain.
You guys say your name?
Bureau, some abstain.
No opinion.
Townley, did you want to say something?
No, absolutely. I'm talking to myself.
Calling for any other abstention?
Lerner abstains.
Lerner abstains. Was there an abstention in the back of the room?
Lewinson abstains.
Lewinson abstains.
Look at that.
Okay. Calling for any other abstentions? Are there any recusals?
Thompson abstains.
Fantastic. No recusals.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Betty. Moving on. And I apologize for board members. We're a little bit longer tonight because we had elections and we're training new board members, but think about how much faster it gets as we go along. Jason, you're up.
Okay.
Next slide.
11 Hubert Street. Okay, this is, I don't know, if you live in this part of Tribeca, you're familiar with this building. It looks just like this today, basically, but, it's been sold and it's gonna be, really just about adding a little bit of bulk here and reskinning the building. Maybe giving it a little bit more of a modernist kind of design and less of a, historic Tribeca, try to take this to. It's great, yeah, it's really not a very pretty building. We liked it and thought it was a good move, so.
Jason, are you feeling comfortable that you would want to take these 3 together and go?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there were any controversies.
They're not controversial.
I don't- This one I don't have.
That's zoning. These are.
Yeah.
Do that.
That's not us.
Something crazy happened.
Jason, I have a question on 11.
Yeah,
So they had come back, it's the same owner, the architect that had come some
No.
time ago where the facade looked like a prison.
no,
All right,
It
so
traded last year.
completely different owner and
Yep.
whole shebang is different.
Yep.
All right.
My apologies.
No, there's a before, a current
Yeah.
and
Okay.
a proposed.
Yeah, I put a couple slides in.
That's
and-
much better.
Yeah,
So they're gonna like take the gray away and have it be red?
it's like a handmade brick, so actually brick.
Yeah.
It's like a stucco.
Quick sidebar, I live around there and it's Colster, Street. So they've occasionally blocked the street instead of like parking on the sidewalk to cars go by with some of their vehicles that were unloading and stuff, so.
Yes, I
I know
expect
it's not, I
blocking.
know it's not landmarks, but I just want to
Right.
get it on the record for in case it happens again.
Get your 311 complaints ready when they start construction.
You got it.
I'll be
Okay.
blocking that entire block.
Next one.
Yeah, another view of that very narrow street that leads to Beach Street. I know Elizabeth knows this area.
It's very important because also the Holland Tunnel traffic.
Terrible, terrible.
They need to really be on top of it.
Yes, yes. Well,
Yes.
quality of life.
What?
Well, bring it to the quality of life
That's
committee
be
when it
closed,
starts.
and it all goes to Beach and Greenwich and.
I know as well,
Front
you
of
know that
Citibank.
block. I'm very familiar with
I
that
know your
block.
parents over there.
Guys, let's stay on target for landmarks. This is what we're talking about. This is the second
Does anybody
resolution.
know this building?
That is the new shelter.
Current shelter, and they want to, remember how everybody was really insistent that you couldn't see in the windows in the back? So they did this similar treatment that they're proposing to the front of the building here. So the next slide, I mean, you can't barely even tell, is from the inside, they're gonna spray this like film that's,
Sticker.
no, I don't think so.
Not like 3 on tape.
Okay, a film like what I thought, okay.
Come back up.
Yeah, it's like frosted glass. This building is obviously not original. I really don't see why we'd have an issue with it. It's an awful way to occupy a room when you can't see out of it well, but that's really not our fault. Yes.
Landmark, right? One of the things that you come back with, and it's not for this facade, was that they were going to shorten some of the windows that look directly into the school.
Oh, I thought are you saying about
So
comment from the
The
meeting?
original,
Oh,
the original feedback from Quality of Life and part of the negotiations between the community and the developer and the provider what had to do with the fact that the side of the building and the back of the building looked directly into the school windows and the school looked directly into those windows. And the way the windows were, the request was that the windows were frosted, so the kids weren't looking into the people inside. So they did that, and now they came back for the front of the building for the same thing, to provide privacy opportunities for the residents of the shelter.
Whatever happened to curtains?
yeah.
Well, funny you should say that, Jason.
Need to be watched.
We did have curtains conversations and
Well, we just said, but that really to me translated that they weren't allowed to do that treatment on the first 2 stories of windows. That's how I got.
because those were offices and general facilities, they could do regular curtains on them.
That's right.
Okay, I mean, it's not really that controversial, so let's go to the next one, let's just make sure we hit this one up. Okay, all right, this one was easy, obviously a great building, but they, wanna put a little baby ramp on to enter one of the retail places, it's fully reversible. It's this guy's unique little design of the smallest possible ramp that also is, DOT and DOT legal, and, I thought it was fine, and reversible, and miniature and, right, we want people to get to safety there. So that's it. I think we can take all 3 together. If there's no questions.
All the questions.
Good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Fantastic. So we're gonna go for new board members. We're taking all 3 together. So if you have a vote that is different on one application versus all the others, when we're taking them together, you say your last name, the address that you're changing your vote for, and what your vote is. So with the 3 of them together, are there any opposed?
Thompson opposes 140 West Broadway.
Just like that. All right. Are there any abstentions?
Marissa abstained on 11, you.
Okay. All right. Alex?
The window tint fly screen, 320 for all.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me.
Okay. Are there any other abstentions, of oppositions, or recusals in the room?
Burrito?
Jason Taylor. Fantastic. All 3 motions passed. Thank you very much. Next committee. Netta, you're up. And again, this is another one of those things, if you take a look at how incredible this resolution is and the scope of work that went into this.
But
Oh my
we're gonna start with 100 gold, which is easier,
Okay.
and then we go to the non-controversial. So 100 gold, EDC, and their developer and their design team came to the meeting and they introduced themselves. They showed previous work that they had done. We asked about the building, the program of the building. They were not ready to share any information on that with us. But then the developer mentioned that they have been reaching to different organizations within the neighborhood and having their input and bringing them on board with the project that they are doing, which we still don't know what it is.
And this, just a reminder, this is a conversion.
No, this is,
No.
$100
Was
gold.
that part?
This will go to Euler. This will be a Euler for 100 gold.
And then they are planning on having many meetings with the community and with us. They showed us their timeline. And they're gonna start that process in fall.
The resolution.
There's no
resolution.
That's why I can't find it.
Report.
There is a resolution. It's 10 pages. If you go to the
That's
next
the
one,
next resolution.
the
I had a
resolution.
question here.
On 100 gold?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, from some of you that have been here
Go back.
longer. Do I remember correctly that GFP is a developer owner
Yeah.
from Water Street where they gave with us on the pops, you know, the.
No, not the bad pops, the good, this is 25 water. That was a commercial conversion that, has affordable housing in it. That's the one
That was them.
that's them. They offered tours. Yes, Alice and I had conversations with them on their exterior space and the public amenities because we wanted to see more trees on the exterior and public seating outside on those corners.
I think you may be remembering 200 water.
And 77 water, she's remembering.
Yeah, because I just remember not feeling good about one of these players.
Yeah, not these guys.
Yeah, some of those that have pops are gonna come to the committee next month. They're doing something with them.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. So, the other thing, I will say that I did run into and ask DCAS, whether, because 100 gold had come, whether or not it was possible to retain the office people in the district, because that I thought was important to the community board. And I didn't get an overwhelmingly positive thought, so that may end up on the land use agenda. We may end up doing a resolution looking at what we've asked already, but we need to see the RFP, and we have foiled for the RFP, and when did we foil? I think in November. We foiled for it and we're still waiting. It was delayed again. And once we get the foil back, then we'll be able to have a more robust internal conversation at the committee. Thank you.
Great, so, the resolution that we had this month is about the proposed modification to Independence Plaza. Can you go to the next page, please? It's a large-scale residential development. It was built under the Washington Street Urban Renewal Plan. The applicant is seeking a non-ULURP modification that would allow construction of a new 1,090-foot tower and 3 street wall buildings, adding approximately 967 new dwelling units. They also are changing the community facilities, open space, and pedestrian circulation. Can you go forward?
Sure.
One. The one that has elevation. This, just to see the scale of it. But this resolution and this vote is not whether the project should or should not be approved. It's a resolution on the scope of work for the environmental impact statement. Our role is at this stage, is to identify the issues that should be fully analyzed before any decisions are made. We review, can you go to the next page? So these are the tasks that the DCP has identified themselves that they're going to study. So the committee supports the baseline, which is what DCP is going to analyze, but we believe that EIS should meet thoroughly and address several important additional issues, which are in the resolution, but I can very quickly go over them. First, we ask them to clearly explain the regulatory framework governing the site, including the original 1971 LSRD approvals, any waivers, easements, site plans, and legal basis for processing this application as a non-ULURP LSRD modification. Second, we ask them to do thorough analysis of affordability, displacement, community facilities, open space, shadows, historic resources, transportation, climate resilience, neighborhood character, and public health. Third, we place particular emphasis on construction impacts. The resolution requests detailed analysis of excavation, groundwater, vibration, noise, dust, emergency access, adjacent building protection, impacts on Harrison Street townhouses, and the on-site senior center and surrounding residents. We also requested an independent environmental monitor for structural and vibration monitoring adjacent to the buildings and meaningful mitigation measures during construction. Finally, the resolution requests that mitigation measures, public access commitment, affordability commitments, community facility replacement, and construction protections be incorporated into an enforceable approved document rather than remaining as a voluntary commitment.
Wow, okay, so I saw Susan's first, and then Jeff, and then Andrew.
So the woman who spoke at the public hearing about it, are all her concerns incorporated in some way, or do you want to add this to?
She had a 6 minute,
Three. Oh, sorry, my apologies.
no,
Go
in
on.
the committee, she had
Yes.
six, we gave her 6 minutes to go through the
Okay.
material.
I
And
just-
we addressed
Okay.
the concerns the best. There were some claims that we could not verify,
I see.
but the claims that we could verify, we put it in the resolution.
I think that's in the Harrison part that they talk about.
Yeah.
It's in task 7. Correct.
Okay, next, Jeff.
It's kind of a technical question. Why is this non-ULURP? Is this some city of yes thing that makes it?
No.
No.
The way projects are determined if they're ULURP or non-ULURP, it's not about size. It's about if they go after changing a zoning law or a text.
But changing the urban renewal
So
plan is.
there was a zoning,
The urban renewal.
the urban
expired.
renewal plan expired because the requirements for it, they had to provide public notice. You know where public notices go, they all go to die in some back page on city and state. And if there's no objections or there's no pursuance of it, then it goes away. And so that is what happened. The public did not know. No, I don't think the residents of IPN knew either because many of them have come back to us under the assumption that they were still in that plan and this was not possible. So,
So it's only secret that requires some sort of review?
It's unclear what city planning is considering this modification, and we have asked them what are they modifying?
Mhm.
What their application shows is that they're defaulting to current area zoning, which gives them, if they are of 10, if they doing residential, 12. That's why they can do that very, very, very tall tower. But the plan that was approved in 1971 would not allow them to go that high. So they can't call it the modification of the plan which was approved to me, if they're going with the new zoning.
Yeah.
So that's information which is missing, and we have been trying to get that information from, city planning.
Okay, so you guys are on top of it.
And the only other thing that I will tell you is the one comment about City of Yes is there is no requirement for them to put the affordable housing there.
Correct.
They can offsite it.
Thank you, Brad Land.
But 2023, if you remember, we reviewed this application. This application was shorter. It was below 900.
Yes.
Now they're saying that they might give us 20% affordable, and the tower has also grown in height. That takes advantage of or I don't know, take advantage is the right thing to say, but it goes the City of Yes.
Yes.
Either case.
So yes, there is impacts to both. I think Richard had something after Andrew. Andrew?
Sure. I may not be wrong correctly, but.
And then Mark.
Didn't we successfully advocate for a role for consultant, for lack of a better word, on the Water Street project? And I'm wondering if this is of size and scale, will we might advocate for something similar?
Absolutely.
As a monitor?
Yeah.
We have asked for.
Yep.
Is that in the resolution?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the last pass.
Great, thank you.
Great resolution.
Marianne.
Mariama, was that your hand or Mark's?
Yeah, and, the governor had another additional 5% onto those minimums. Like the City of Yes mandates 0% affordable housing, unless you need some kind of special waiver or something, then that's when the 20% kicks in. But I thought I remember Total coming in after that and making it a minimum of 25% into the 20. No?
That was fine, World Trade.
I don't
Well,
think,
we'll trigger, but when it comes to 33.
I
That
don't,
might be with, for some sort of.
is that MIH
That's the.
or a tax program?
Which I am not familiar with, so I don't.
But that's a good question that we can have Martine ask. So if you can email the office, we can have Martine research that.
UAP is 20%.
Yeah. All right, any other questions on this crazy thing?
I don't have a question, but I just want to make a comment. I really want to thank Netta
Yes.
and a huge thank you to Martine Johannesson as well. Really worked extremely hard on this resolution together in a, very, as you can see, effective way. So
Yeah.
Bravo and thank you. And also Martine on the resolution of mine on environmental protection. I mean, this is quite a voice that they have.
It's not often that we do 9-page resolution.
Yeah.
And I can say that Netta, put an hour in for every word that was in here with the research that she did before, during and after, so. Props. Right, so,
Question?
thank you.
Second.
Thank you. It's a vote by, thank you, vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed? Hearing and seeing none. Are there any abstentions or refusals?
Stop abstains.
Scott abstains. Fantastic. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next,
Just a reminder, if you only have a report, you get 6 minutes.
exactly.
Okay. Let's see if we can do 60 seconds. I'm happy to in fact feed the time to chair if we want to. But anyway, so quick report, Governor's Island, they came and just gave us an update. They're obviously operating in their peak hours, which are Sunday to Thursday, 7 to 10 PM, Friday, Saturday, 7 AM to 11 PM. Certain areas of the park close at dusk. Those include the hills, Hammock Grove, and Picnic Point. Update on the ferries, as you know, we're operating the New York State's first public hybrid electric ferry, capacity of 1,200 passengers. It was estimated we would save roughly 600 tons of carbon emissions. They've reported that we're exceeding that. I think they said 750 tons, if I recall the number correctly. They updated us on the fees, round trip, $5, several free categories, seniors, NYCHA residents, and children under 12. They have they've opened an activity center, which is a container where someone can go and ask where there are various recreational activities and games. We do have a slide, I think, about some of the ongoing development projects. You can get information about this on the website. The two that we really spoke about were Building 555, which is the Harbor School, just to give you again some parameters around that, renovation and expansion. The expansion's 30,000 plus square feet, which will deliver 450 new seats, as well as an annex that will include pools, specialized labs, and other facilities. With respect to the New York City climate, they've advanced the design aspects of that, and there's also a new CEO, Dr. M. Sanjayan. He was previously CEO of Conservation International. We have asked them to come in to either July or September meeting to give us a full update on designs and strategy for that going forward. And they gave us various programming updates and activities, a lot going on, all of it available on the website.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
I see no hands, no questions. Let's move on. You're up.
I'll be very.
And you get 6 minutes for 4 items.
Yeah, I'm not gonna need 6.
Awesome.
Next slide, please. So the first item was a report from the Port Authority on their ongoing work on Kowski Plaza, next to Gateway Apartments and next to the marina there. Here's the schedule that we're operating under now. This project began some years ago, and they found deteriorated conditions underneath. What the project involves supposedly originally was designed to simply clean out residue and sludge in the cooling water lines that go to the World Trade Center from the Hudson River. But when they got underneath it, they found significant deterioration underneath there and have to do some major rehabilitation work. So as things are looking now, they plan to be done by winter 2027. And I asked them in the meeting whether that meant they'd be done by January 2027. And they said, no, December 2027. That's the winter that they were looking for. So basically 18 months from now is fundamentally. Okay, that's the end of that report. Let's go on to the next line. We had a report on the status of the South Battery Park City resiliency plan. This diagram map here is of the battery. It basically, the street near the top is Battery Place. And you can see Pier A on the left. The green area is the area that's open now. The brown area is supposed to be open by July 4th. That's next week. We will see. But if it is open by July 4th, well, whenever it opens, it will significantly enhance the enjoyment of Battery Park compared to what we've been suffering through for the last several years. And then the remaining little area is supposedly by Labor Day. The other item on that we covered on the agenda in some depth was a report from Laura Dodge in terms of the independent environmental monitoring going on or supposed to be going on in the project, the Northwest Battery Park City Resiliency Project. Mark Liebman, member of the public sitting over there, in his public statement early on, outlined a number of concerns, and he presented some of those same concerns at the Battery Park City Committee meeting. They are well-founded, and we will be looking into them. And fundamentally, they relate to lateness in getting access to meaningful community monitoring. We expected that to kick off a lot earlier than it has. And so right now, all that's available to the public are the contractors, construction contractors, environmental monitor, which Laura, our community monitor, assures us are doing a good job. But the reports are indecipherable by mere mortals. And so although there is public information available, they are very difficult to understand. And we are looking to Laura and her company to assess them and translate them for us in a meaningful way, as well as improve the, comment on the quality of and make recommendations if needed for improvement of the monitoring that's going on.
Justine has a hand up, and before she does, we also sent a note off to Battery Park City this week, because since Jeff's meeting and before you spoke today, there's been unannounced night work that's been happening.
Yeah.
There's been removal of more public assets who are fighting to, people live here, we're here 5 to 7 years through full construction, and so we're trying to ask for the public authority that's supposed to provide better benefits for the public realm, and that means today, not only in the future, so during this project. So we're advocating, Jeff made a great presentation for the dog runs, we've argued over benches that are coming out, but more than that, we have, as the gentleman said, there's been a lot of environmental issues within the last 2-3 weeks that have been pretty bad with, water being on and off in South Battery Park, power loss in 375, I don't know why that was yet. Noise that's overnight work when we were told there were no night and weekend permits. And I'm not talking just moving things from point A to point B, I'm talking active, huge noise. So we're gonna try and schedule another meeting with them before the next Battery Park City Committee meeting to try and get on top of it, because it's not a good position when the community board's notifying the owner of the project of work that's being done that they didn't necessarily know.
Yeah, although just clarification, the night work was Port Authority, work.
Not the recent one in Compass Park. Check your emails.
I thought that was the report. I'll have to reread it.
So Justine, is it relevant or can we?
It's relevant. No, it's relevant because it actually goes to what you just. They ever answer who's working where and like, and who's responsible? Is it Port Authority? Is it Battery Park City Authority? Is it both? Right there by Pump House Park?
Oh,
yeah, it
Both.
depends on
The
where
answer
you're
is both.
talking about.
Well,
You
where
know
the
what,
noise
Justine, let's
complaints
take-
have been coming
let's-
from. And I just wanted that on the
Justine,
record.
That's why we're gonna be
Justine,
meeting.
that's why we're setting up a meeting. Because it doesn't help for us to go point A, point B, point C. We just need everybody to come to a meeting and get it done.
Done. Enough said. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next. Thank you, Jeff.
Wait, sorry, Tammy, very
Oh,
quickly.
sorry, yes.
If it relates to securities.
Yeah.
For the July meeting, I think, downtown Willow will be coming to that meeting. We had an incident that was triggered around security that resulted in a hospitalization of one of our volunteer coaches.
Wow.
So we engaged in pursuit with someone who swiped his scooter and they turned the scooter around and tried to run the court.
Oh my God.
So we're speaking to BCP about, or BPCA about just a more visible presence during meeting hours.
So this was some outsider there?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the ball fields.
At the ball fields. On daylight.
Yeah.
Crowded.
Battery Park City Authority has a new head of public safety. Whether it's gonna make a difference on issues like this or not, I don't know, but this is certainly something we'll want to involve him in.
And they have a brand new director of operations.
Did they catch the guy on the bike?
Let's take that offline. We don't need to do that here. Thank you, Andrew. We'll loop you in. Pat is not here. Jill's giving the report.
Oh, okay, I did not.
Or Mariama.
Yeah, Jill is.
Okay, fantastic. Jill was our quality of life chair this month. Thank you very much.
It was a fabulous meeting. If we could put the slide up that I think, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, it was a fabulous meeting. New York Connects did not show up, and so.
Again.
Again. So we went straight
Amen.
to 240 Greenwich Street, which you all may know is the BNY building. And they're going to do a massive update of the building, and they're going to have beautiful terraces with trees on it that we won't be able to use, and they're going to have a health club we can't use, and they're doing wonderful things for the employees that have nothing to do with us, but they did tell us that the public amenity was we'd be able to look at a nice building. And we told them that that was not a public amenity in our opinion. And then we all asked questions about air quality and construction and closing streets and all the kind of questions this community board is particularly good at asking. And I basically think they'll get back to us. And that is
Can I add something too? Because
Oh,
I
please, yeah, add,
recently
because.
went to a function at DC 37 and was amazed at the way the street, they have taken over. Barclay Street is about this big now.
Yeah.
They've siphoned off the space and I mean,
The construction.
the construction is still very bad. Now it's extended to Barclay Street, yeah.
Yeah, and,
In front of the
once
school.
they had said, told us, if I remember correctly, they hadn't spoken with the neighbors yet, so.
Yeah,
we talked- yeah. Noise.
Building that they just
Pollution,
redid
the whole-
on West Street, where those people paid lots of money.
Lots of money.
This is the building that we lost, that the community board lost, the community lost, in interior pops. Was-
Which I
Oh,
did
no,
mention to them.
Yeah. No, they said they did a really nice, the area on the corner.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Oh, right, oh, they
Yes,
said that they, yeah, they did that.
That's an amendment.
Yeah.
One at a time, Andrew.
Alex, you're talking about 240 Greenwich?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so I worked in that building for a number of years. They were preventing people from having.
Yeah.
I thought we successfully lobbied and pushed against them.
We certainly did.
We
For a
did at
minute.
the beginning, and then after COVID, they closed it, and then they went and pursued legally to say, you know, we never really meant for this to be open to the public, and it was gonna be open to the public when we had this plan in, and we never did that plan.
Correct.
So we can close it. And DCP said no.
So I don't want to belabor it, but I don't think they made the decision to open it or not. I thought it was required by the manner in which the parcels were, that the building occupied.
Correct.
2 parcels.
And they hired attorneys to change it.
Yeah, and then they redid the, little seating area in front of,
In front of DC 37
Yeah.
on the corner
Yeah.
there,
and,
Murray
and she told us that was.
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
a
that was the
trade-off.
amenity for the
That was the
community.
amenity, instead of having use of that big atrium.
Right.
And they're putting the ballots up all.
Okay, Betty?
Is there gonna be a resolution that goes to, BNY?
We did one.
They're coming back next,
Right now,
Oh, yeah.
no, September.
need some changes, I was thinking, there's gonna be a resolution in the area. I have lots of things to complain about, that
Oh,
really pretty.
So get those together because it's 2 things that are concurrently happening on Murray Street. For those who do not know, there's the BNY Mellon building, which is building up the bollards on the outside of the building and extending their sidewalk on Greenwich by another 10 feet. That is one project. And then there is the Con Ed DDC project, which is the Spaghetti Street that's in the middle, that's going up Greenwich. So unfortunately, both projects are happening at the same time. The one that's moving up Greenwich is starting to close their stuff that is around BNY Mellon, so BNY Mellon can start, which means that that section will stay under construction and non-accessible in any remote way. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be asking for accessibility or better sidewalks or anything else. Yeah.
We asked them so many questions that they couldn't answer.
Yeah.
They're not prepared. We were their first stop in terms of reaching out to get some kind of feedback. They didn't realize that they had residents living around them. So then you got a problem.
So you and Francis, you and Susan, take us home. You're the next
Okay.
one up.
I'd like to introduce, he stepped out, but we have a new co-chair, Sean Scott and, Francis and me. So there you are.
There he is.
That's that's my co-chair. So what I'd like to propose for brevity is that I'd like to take the last, the one we vote on, which we're gonna vote no on, which is Mescalera, Zona, blah, 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 and take everything else all together.
All right, hold on.
Unless you have questions, specific questions. We vetted pretty much everything.
What's the address?
I'm getting you the address.
The address is 353 Greenwich Street. I'd like to take that last. Because I'd like to vote on it, yes, no, blah, 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 and the rest we could just.
So for
one fell swoop.
these, we will be taking 109 West Broadway, 339 Greenwich Street, 185 West Broadway, 76 Chambers, 388 Greenwich,
4 South.
4 South, 20 Battery, and 95 South Street, all together.
Yes. And Mark,
Which we will on occasion do when nothing has been highly controversial,
yes.
for brevity.
A record.
Yeah, so if you have questions on any of these, this is where you raise your hand. And we're gonna go Mark and then Alice.
On 388 Greenwich, the lawyer there said he was gonna talk to the Citibank community outreach person, and they was gonna contact us. Did that happen yet?
Yep.
Yes,
And
it
what
did.
was the, how did it
We're-
go?
It went fine. They noted the concerns and we're gonna try and set up a meeting with Zach, working with the folks over at City to have conversations about the amount of traffic around the building.
All right, so please include me in those meetings.
Sure.
It was something that was.
Better you than me. Yeah,
Something that was in quality of life years ago and never got resolved.
No problem.
because of
not,
COVID.
not a problem.
Done,
Please, keep me, I wanna be at those meetings.
done.
And he came back with some additional information which we added in, Nash has.
Was it Jerry?
No, Jerry was not the one who
All right.
replied.
The lawyer who was there.
Yeah, it was the lawyer.
We had some additional
in
questions
there.
of him.
It's
It's
in
in here, what he had.
Citibank in the loop, right?
Yep, Alice, you're next.
Well,
Thank
is
you, Jack.
Jared still in the room?
No.
That's a po-
No.
Okay, I mean, I just want to make sure, okay, never mind. The only thing I wanted to, sorry, what's the number here? 109 West Broadway. I just want to add, if you don't mind, just to make it crystal clear, this is the enclosed sidewalk cafe, which was attempting earlier to have more seating, but just to make sure it says on the third, whereas this application does not include any additional outdoor sidewalk seating
Correct.
or roadbed seating outside of this enclosed site. but just be
Fine. Put it
Specific,
in.
and then, and therefore be resolved as to use the word the enclosed sidewalk.
Okay, you put it in and give it.
Oh, sorry.
And
Yeah.
No problem.
So can I have a call the question on all these?
That is.
Fantastic.
Oh. I'll tell you very quickly, say you can do as much dancing as you want, wherever you can strip your clothes, whatever. They have allowed us to have dancing in any place except that Scrum. We're still gonna ask if you're having dancing on all our applications, just so you know.
But we can't regulate it or put it on this.
Exactly.
Okay,
I
so
just
this is a
don't
vote
know.
by affirmation for everything except for 353 Greenwich at this point. Are
Correct.
there any in opposition?
No
I'm-
one-
Zelter, go.
No on 388 Greenwich.
Maruso. no.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to slow down because I'm
Whoa,
gonna
whoa, whoa.
cross 6 columns.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Maruso,
Delta,
no.
wait, stop.
Zelter,
Zelter.
he's a no on 388 Greenwich.
So is Mark.
And Mark,
And Maruso, no, 88.
And then
88.
opposite ends of the
yep,
spreadsheet.
I know, Amoroso and Zelter. We're so nice up there. All right, anybody else?
Sorry, Thompson opposes 109 Broadway.
Thank you. Are there any other oppositions to anything else in this packet?
Just to slip it to
Are there any abstentions for anything in the packet? Are there any
Mark has
recusals?
his hand raised.
Mark?
Abstain, and Maruso abstain, 76 Chambers.
Yes,
Oh. Okay, great. Anything else? Any recusals? Motion's passed. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, before you do that, I want to say that we have approved FIFA permits for PJ Clark's at Battery Park City in the World Financial Center, aka Brookfield. They've applied for FIFA permits and we have said yes to those. So has SEG at the Fulton.
That's
On Fulton on the cobblestones. We've said yes to that one as well. That has come to us. As far as I know, Onej, we have not seen any other permits that have come. These are things that don't come to committee. They come, you have
I'm not sure.
like 24, 48 hours to say, hey, great, do we have any objections?
I think there's another one or two.
There was one before. All May.
There was one before.
Why do they need special permit?
Because there's.
Alcohol.
Because they want to stay up all night.
It gives them a one, it gives them.
One off.
You can apply to stay open till 4 AM if the game goes that way.
And there are a number of them that have like six, they can't have more than 6 or 8.
12.
12,
And
that's-
yeah.
it's awful, but it's what's happening.
All right, so now we're, so now we're on to 353 Greenwich. Susan, you're gonna go first, and then if anybody has questions, hands up, because I've already seen 3 hands.
If you have read the resolution, they have, not complied, I'm trying to be nice about with anything. And as, so the new members will know, it's rare that the licensing committee totally rejects an application completely, because usually the state liquor authority will go against us or say they want to keep businesses open. And when we do something like this, we will go and protest up with the SLA. It's rare that we do it. This has been so egregious that there is no other way for us to do this, but to say no completely.
I know, hold on for a second. I can't find it here, but I know that restaurant very well. And there's nothing egregious going on there at that restaurant. They are a mainstay of Tribeca. It used to be Yafa's Cafe, owned by a local person who's a member of the.
Not anymore.
A member of,
Not anymore.
what?
It's not
anymore.
Anymore what?
By those people.
No, but it's owned by a person.
Bob,
Who,
we have hands up that I recognize.
I know, and I'm still speaking.
And you are out of turn.
No, I'm not out of turn. You're out of turn, cutting me off. I'm just asking Susan, there's not been a transfer of ownership. Is this because of a transfer of ownership?
No, it's because of behavior.
No, but so I'm gonna tell my friends on the community board to vote against this resolution, because there's no problem at this restaurant.
Read the resolution.
And it's not, but I'm there, I walk past there every evening
But
on my way home.
they had everything they asked
Okay,
for.
stop. There's no back and forth.
You
Bob
can
has,
be a curmudgeon.
Bob has said his opinion.
Thank you.
Vincent,
Hey, everybody. All right. So, yes, Bob said, yes, it was, used to be the office, long time neighborhood, lived in Tribeca, so long. I actually went to this, after we had our, committee, I actually went to talk to the owner of this establishment. And, mentioned all our complaints and all our concerns to him. And he had mentioned to me that the illegal shed that they have on the sidewalk, the reason why they haven't taken it down is because the owner of the building is gonna strip out the whole entire sidewalk and renovate the sidewalk. That's what his reason was. And I said, well, you haven't paid your fines. He's like, I haven't received any fines, I haven't received any notices and things like that. So, I'm not trying to defend anybody. What I think is, I think they should need to be, next time we have our committee, they need to come to the committee and speak for themselves and see why they've been ignoring.
The SLA
You
denied.
must look at the resolutions.
No, no, I
No,
agree.
no.
I'm not saying
I
that I
want-
disagree.
let Susan answer you.
You must look at the resolution and realize that the SLA enforcement also went there.
Mhm.
And have, this is not pie in the sky. This is not made up information. Thank you very much. Call the
Well, wait,
question.
no, because we had other hands. We gotta give everybody the same equal justice opportunity. Who was the other one on the other side?
Mark?
No.
No, I had a different comment. Well, this is all going.
So second,
Okay, so the question was called and seconded. This is roll, all right, Bob, we're beyond questions. Read the resolution, please. This is roll call. Okay?
Motion to table.
Unfortunately, Bob, you're
Right.
too late because it was called and it was seconded, so you're too late. I'm sorry.
I'm always too late.
great.
The
So
joy
it's
of
gonna be a roll call.
This is roll call.
Amaruso,
Yes.
Blank,
Blank, yes.
Bucksbaum,
Yes.
Cassell,
yes.
Chang, Chapman, Cole,
Cole, yes.
Corman,
Norman, yes.
Kucha,
Yeah, abstain.
Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
Espinoza,
Abstain.
Friedman,
Friedman, yes.
Froman,
Roman, yes.
Galloway,
Galloway, yes.
Goldstein. Goodkind,
Good con, yes.
Hernandez,
Hernandez, yes.
Hubbard,
Hubbard abstain.
Mayor James,
James, yes.
Canal,
Cal, yes.
Capel, Miss Kate, Lerner,
Lerner, yes.
Lewinson, Meltzer,
Meltzer, yes.
Mensley,
Hensley, yeah.
Porchakori, Rios, Robinson,
Robinson,
Trust in the judgment.
Scott,
Scott abstains.
Sung,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Townley,
Take a guess.
no. Ware, stay. Washburn,
Washburn abstain.
you,
Yes.
Zelter, motion passes.
Madam Chair, can I make just one 15-second comment, please? Susan went over the dancing thing and I didn't get a chance to comment on it. I just wanted to say on that, all the hard work that we've gone through over the last 20 years to get the SLA to the point to where a French restaurant would come and pretend to be, not be a disco, has all gone out the window. We fought so hard for that, that's what they used to do. From a French bistro that turned into a disco, now it's just carte blanche, and now they can do anything they want, so.
Emma Gold.
Years and years of hard work.
All right. There is no old business that I know
Go
of.
to your revolution.
There is no new business. Do I have a motion to
Emma Gold.
adjourn?
Motion.
9:48, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Welcome newbies.
Thank you.
Look out
Thanks,
for the
everybody.
announcement for July 4th.
Thank you.
This was fun. Bye.